Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Hello. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Hello. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Hello. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Alright, I'm gonna let slowly let people trickle in here. I don't really have a webcam set up at the time. I guess I could use the one in my laptop, but I don't really understand OBS well enough to actually get it to sort of show on the screen that you guys are watching in just yet. Alright, I'm gonna let slowly let people trickle in here. I don't really have a webcam set up at the time. I guess I But in the meantime here, we're going to go ahead and take a look at updating this little deck here. So it's been a while since I've played some Modern, and I really want to win GP Vancouver here in February, and I wanted to start streaming again because I haven't done it in, like I said, I think 3 years. It's really fun, it's really tough, so bear with me, I'm probably going to suck at it first. I asked some people for some tips, but feel free to get frisky in the chat, open up, chat, holler at each other. Preferably holler at me, don't harass one another. But yeah, let me know if the mic's too loud, too soft, the audio quality sucks, it's great, the video quality sucks, it's great, whatever. Just let me know how to improve, and hopefully we can work this out, because I'd like to make this more regular thing. I really enjoy doing this. But so far, this will be our little weapon of choice. Pretty much the same list I played at Grand Prix Dallas, unfortunately to a second place finish, but that's how you play all the rounds. Couldn't end up winning the last round, didn't play well enough. Lost to Scred Red in case you weren't watching. I did a video series for Channel Fireball with it, as well as writing a sideboard guide and a deck primer. Basically, key thing here is we're looking to just sort of systematically run all our opponents out of threats. If they're a combo deck, look to disable what their main line of combo is, and then slowly take over the game with Snapcaster Mage, Kolaghan's Command, Cryptic Command, usually using those 3 cards as like a cycling mechanism of use Snapcaster to counter their spell or kill something and then recover it with Kolaghan's Command, or counter a spell with Cryptic and pick up the Snapcaster Mage. There are a lot of sweet plays you can make with this deck. I got to highlight a few of them in the video series. If you haven't watched it on Channel Fireball, again, I highly recommend it. It was really fun to record. I was told the video quality was solid. The audio quality was pretty poor, so I apologize for that. I ended up buying a studio mic, and I'm hoping that can look to improve it as I start harassing Andy Cooper Foss here to try to make that a more regular ordeal rather than just a, once in a blue moon sort of thing when a Modern tournament rolls around and I'm doing well. Maybe pull your audio gain down just a touch, breaking a bit, unsure if it's due to volume or just mic quality. Jeff, what do you mean by the audio gain? I'm trying to figure out if that's one of the buttons on the back of this mic. I literally just bought it, so I don't know exactly what it does. See the game in the back here, I'm messing with it now. See if that helps out. It's now auto-hosting you. Man, all these features I'm going to have to learn about. I read about this one on the dashboard. Didn't fully make a ton of sense to me just yet, but basically seemed like when you logged off, all of your viewers went to somebody else, which we'll have to do Probably for Caleb, if Caleb's still streaming by the time that we're out of here tonight. But yeah, so one of the biggest sort of things is burns on the decline, so these sun droplets are a lot less effective. The thing that I ended up highlighting to a bunch of people in my article was to cut the Spider Bluff Canal, because the fast lands are just really ineffective for a deck that's not looking to combo off in the first few turns. Seem to be super loud. Okay, let's turn that down even more then. Thanks, Troy. I need to start modding some of you awesome people. Lightning Bolt. That's probably the right one. Much better? Awesome. Thanks, MC Usher. Let me know if it gets worse or better at any particular times. Basically, I have a second monitor just set up so I can see what the stream looks like on your guys' end and also read the chat. But who will mod the other moderators? Beckstrom, I don't know. You can mod the other moderators, and that's your problem now, not my problem. I just create problems. It's your job to answer them. It's the exact opposite of what I do at work. Yeah, so burns on the decline, getting back to modern talk. Burns on the decline, so these sun droplets are a lot less effective. I still think the burn matchup's like pretty horrific to the point where I might want one of them. But I mean, if burn is truly 3 to 5% of the field now, then I don't think you need either of them. I think you can get away with just playing, say, 3 dispels or potentially another counter squall or something of that nature. I suggested to people in the article play negate. Got worse since that. Oh man, that's unfortunate. Alright, well at least you're keeping me honest. What I had before was perfect. Alright, I turned the volume back up slightly and I left the gain at where I had left it when Hooglin told me it was ineffective. It was at full blast on the gain and I slipped it back to half. Oh man, Gabby's gonna come help us? Man, we just have all the awesome people today. This is way better than when I used to stream Storm. But yeah, so what I was saying is we're gonna try to make the exact changes that I made in my article, which was cut the Spiral Bluff Canal, put in a Bloodstained Mire, which hopefully will make another Tri-Land in the deck. Essentially, you can fetch either of the basics, black or red, but since, we have Steam Vents and Water Your Grave, because modern mana bases are just truly insane. You get basically all 3 colors of this if you want it to be a quad land or even a 5-color land. In some decks you could have it be that. It's basically what you see decks similar to Death Shadow Aggro do. Increase the base. What is the base, Ryan? What's up, Holy Diva? How it goes? I know, seriously, I'm really the worst. Turn down the mic volume just a touch. Understood. Well, now you guys are just spelling base different ways. I don't understand. Alright, but yeah, so we're going to cut a sun droplet. I said to put it in the gate in the article, so we will put it in the gate rather than a counter squall. I think I like counter squall better. I didn't actually know it was a card up until about, say, 4 months ago. But let's put it in the gate. We got our Bloodstained Mires, our Tri-Land. We need to fix our basic lands. Ooh, that's a good point. These are pretty horrific. Hold on, let's see if we have 3 unhinged islands. The basic land game is fairly important. What's up, friend Rudy? I'm being told to turn up my mic volume, turn down my mic volume. I'm sorry. I will work on this, I promise. Hopefully it's a matter of different people's either perspectives or current volumes they sit at. But I really only had 1 unhinged island. That's just a travesty. Do you think Moto will let me play Sunken Hollows and just never tap it for black? If I just make an agreement with them? Alright, unfortunately I have to stay with those silly islands. See if we have an unhinged swamp. I'll buy real islands on Moto here later. It's still cutting in and out a bit. Yeah, when you say it's cutting in and out a bit, is that because I'm like not aiming my head at the mic permanently? So like I have my mic sitting off to my left and my laptop is directly in front of me. So if I ever tilt my body, like right now I'm talking at the computer and now I'm talking at the mic. Is there like a drastic difference in that? Rudy, I agree. I think Luis's sort of evaluation of basics is pretty poor. I think unhinged lands are great. So, this not having unhinged lands is pretty unacceptable, but we're going to have to roll these basics for now. Seriously, you're going to have to harass me on Moto more. This is unacceptable behavior. Alright, either way, our basics suck, our deck's great, everyone in chat's great, you guys are going to carry us, we're going to 5-0. Constructed. Wait, why is there only standard up here? Do I have standard only selected? That'd be really silly. There we go. Get in the queue. Mic is too sensitive right now. It's trying to pick up more volume than it actually can. Turning on your mic some should help. When you say turning down the mic, Gabby, are you just talking the volume? Or are you talking the gain thing that Hooglin was trying to talk to me about earlier? Hey, Fallen Savior. I have not been sort of brewing around with it. It's a card I've looked at. I'm maybe not as enthused about it as most people are, but then again, I don't get as excited as most people do about spoilers. Possibly because I work in the industry, so I'm always just like, oh yeah, that used to be, 10 different cards previously that I thought were cooler, or, the card had to get nerfed because it was too powerful, or it was this other design that I loved and played with, and in all, I do believe the card is very powerful in the ability to play free spells. I think it's the correct way to play a free spell, unlike Cascade. Heck yeah, Sirius, you know what's up. In the sense that Cascade was casting a free spell from your deck, so you're both drawing a card and casting it for free, which I thought was pretty unfair. It was also doing it in a way that I think was too random for Magic players, where there's not much randomness built into sort of the cards that you cast in a Magic game. You only ever cast the ones you put in your deck. And this was not in the sense of, I planned this by putting it into my hand and then casting it. It felt more similar to, I guess, what Hearthstone does in terms of being a Magic player. Whereas, if you put that mechanic into Hearthstone players would absolutely love it. Like, I actually would love if Hearthstone put Cascade into their game. I think it'd be pretty fantastic for them. But to, I guess, finish answer your question, I have not sort of thought about it in a grand sense. I do think it's pretty sweet to cast Ancestral Vision, Kolaghan's Command, cards like that. What's up, Connor? What's up, Daniel? I don't see what Hooglin tried to do. Are you streaming OBS? If you are on the bottom part, you'll see a little mic cock. Oh, I know what you're talking about, Gabby. I'm sorry. Alright, I turned it from 100% to 70%. Oh yeah, Andrew Beckstrom can vouch. He's on our Team Channel Fireball squad. I get really excited about really bad cards. Like, really bad cards. Metallurgic Summonings is one of them. What was the silly 1/1 Skulk guy that made a zombie? I was really high on that card. I really like the bad cards and trying to make them good. Holy Diva, I don't really know. I mean, I was born in California, but then I lived in New York, Missouri, and Michigan. Okay, so just sitting here, we're just going to jump in the league. And then I moved back here to California when I was 12 years old, I believe. So I've been here for 12 years now, about half my life. So I guess America? I'm sort of shrugging and I don't really have a great answer for you, I'm sorry. Hey friend, I'm using OBS. Yeah, that was what I did. Gabby figured it out. I wasn't really paying attention well enough to what she was getting at. Wharf Infiltrator, there you go. Yes, there's this here on top of it. I was just too enthralled talking to everybody. This is the more fun part for me, is just chit-chatting with people. Well, I'm jealous it was great for you. I played it a lot, and all I did was die to, like, Sam Black playing Red Back aggro on turn 4. Beckstrom would kill me a lot on, like, turn 5 with a bunch of 11-11s or 10-10s or whatever stupid Colossus is. Alright, Gabby, you're awesome. Thank you. Alright, so we're on the die roll. We're going to battle first. Alright, we got a Water Grave, Visions, 3 Terminates. Hand's not fantastic, but we can cast Terminate, we can suspend Vision, so our hand's sort of functional in the sense where as long as we're not playing against a combo deck, we've got a way to disrupt people. I mean, this is the kind of hand where if our opponent's on Infect, we're going to be really stoked. So we're going to get Visions out there on 4. And if you guys prefer the... Ooh, Creeping Tar Pit. That's great. Let me know if you like the Exile Pile spread out or hidden in there. I'm not sure what people prefer the most. Awesome, Abby. Yeah, John is a sweet deck, and it's a deck that I've played before. I played an Abzan deck with 4 Relic Progenitus when Treasure Cruise was popular. So I haven't actually just like registered Jund at a real major modern tournament, but Jund's a really sweet deck, and I don't follow anybody that wants to play Jund. I think the deck's sweet and super powerful. Alright, so we're both just sitting here making land drops. I unfortunately missed my 3rd land drop. Ended up making it there. Opponent's playing pretty well just by not cracking their fetches. Unfortunately, we're not going to have 4 mana here to fight a counter war over our Ancestral, so it's very likely our Ancestral here gets countered. And our sort of hope here after that is we draw a fetch land so we can just spend 4 mana and either get Tasigur down, or we end up drawing like a Serum Visions and can end up like extending the game. So I'm expecting this to get counter-squalled, especially after our opponent just played a tap land. Ooh, it did not get countered. That's sweet. Alright, so now we have to figure out if we want to actually play our Tasigur here into 4 mana. It's just likely to get killed, but it's sort of fine to start getting our opponent to spend resources in their hand to make our Kolaghan's commands better once we start finding them. Unfortunately, our hand is just truly abysmal otherwise, and we'd have to discard 2 cards to hand size. I'd rather only discard 1 card to hand size. What we could do is we could bolt our opponent, then play Tasigur. That actually sounds more ideal to me, so let's go ahead and play our Polluted Delta. We'll fetch up an island. Main reason for getting the 3rd island here is just kind of preserve our life total. Gonna bolt our opponent, and if our opponent wants to counter his Tasigur, I'm perfectly fine with that. If they want to kill it, I'm also perfectly fine with that. I did not hit black mana, did I? Another nice thing about exiling this whole graveyard here is for some reason if our Tasigur to stick around for a turn, which I find pretty unlikely, then we have a, not a bad graveyard to recover. Alright, so opponent's sacking for a blue, don't really understand that yet. Thought Scour themselves. Tasker's here. I assume this is going to go to Steam Vents, and he's going to fall to 13. Alright, so still at 15. Steam Vents tapped. What's up, Watchwolf? Awesome, Tori. Tell Andy I said what's up. Finally got the money for Tarmo with all the rain pieces of your deck and the shopping cart. Awesome. I haven't actually played the Grixis Control Mirror, so this should be fun. Ooh. The Bensec. What's up, baby? I would say currently, though, Holy Diva, we are getting clobbered. Kolaghan's Command, we are going to shock and bolt, huh? Alright, so Engineering Explosives is completely dead in this matchup, so we're going to discard that. This is going to get bolted. So our opponent's on 4 cards. Unfortunately, 3 of our cards are dead. That was a pretty nice draw. So with that, we still want to draw land, so I'm going to go and play the island and suspend Ancestral. This will leave up Terminate and Cryptic. Our opponent's Ancestral is on 2, and we do want to fight over this fairly badly. Opponent's correct in not attacking here with their Tar Pit. Alright, we do a Counter Squall. Let's play our Tarn. Now we have double counter up, which is pretty effective here. They're going for an end of turn Snapcaster Mage on what is likely Kolaghan's Command, which is going to be a discard and shock, I guess. Figure out if I'm going to fight over this silly Snapcaster Mage. Not a great spot. It's not a great spot because it's also indicative of a very likely second Kolaghan's Command. So, like, if we counter this with Cryptic, they're just very likely to just make another. Still, given that, I'm just going to counter it. Not, like, pleased or anything, but assume we'll counter back here. That's Cryptic. We're going to fetch up. Do I want a Watery Grave or do I want a Steam Vents here? Can also get a Blood Crypt, so we have 2 black and 2 red. Yeah, I think we'll actually get a Blood Crypt. So this is going to put us to 14. They can hit us down to 11. They've got 1 on their Ancestral. But I think a countering... I guess a Snapcaster already went to counter here. I don't know why I did this. This is really stupid. I guess I just stop their draw here and I get a card. Yeah, whatever. This is bad. I probably should have just let their Snapcaster resolve at this point. Whatever. I'm dumb. Alright, so their Ancestral's on 1. We made a horrific play that turn. That was really bad. Hopefully we draw a Snapcaster. Alright, well we didn't. So we're going to get punished for our error here. They're going to go back up to 7 cards on the next turn. Hopefully we don't have another Snapcaster Mage like I thought, or K-Command rather. Feels pretty likely though. Yeah, I don't understand what goes on with Magic Online sometimes. Alright, so yeah, we are getting punished. They did have another recovery effect with Snapcaster/Kolaghan's command. Really should have just let that other one last turn resolve. There was just no reason to continue fighting. I should have just let the Snapcaster sit and play. Because I thought they had another K-Command, but Snapcaster Mage is just a K-Command on the spot. So this is just a horrendous play, and we're going to end up losing like 6 cards worth of value here. I don't really know how we get back into this at this point, because we just played about as badly as we could the last 2 turns. Alright, so we're going to discard this Delta, so I think we're actually going to need most of these turn mates here. I'm just going to take some hits off the Snapcaster Mage for a little while. Mostly because I don't want to put it back into their graveyard after they're drawing 3 more cards here. This is a Squirrel match. Or Squirrel Lead, excuse me. This is the first match. Alright, so this is going to put us down to 12. We're going to fetch down to 11, getting out of Water Grave here momentarily. Opponent has 7 cards. One of them's a Snapcaster Mage. I feel like a dumb idiot. Oh, seriously, is that what the bug's related to? I didn't realize it was to the foil textless cards. So I've had bolts that do that in the past when I played with textless bolts. Quickly changed that. It was not acceptable. Your blue bolts and your red ponders. Alright, so they kept 1 card on top and bottomed the other. Interesting to note they have a Spell Snare in their yard also. Let's extend that a little bit. So they're playing a Tasigur. They have Cryptic mana up and Recovery mana up, but they left a Bolt in their yard for some reason, and that doesn't really make much sense to me. I'm going to go ahead and terminate this in the end step and see if they want to fight over it. Let's tap the Water Grave. And if for some reason they want to fight over this, I'm perfectly happy with this. They should just activate and try to get back one of their spells. Alright, so they activate. We have to give them back Snare Bolt or Cryptic. So they're going to have to... Not a great spot. Alright, we certainly can't give them back Cryptic, so we're just going to give them back Bolt. But note that puts us at 8 life, essentially. So we probably can't take as many hits as I wanted to off the Snapcaster Mage anymore. Fetch down to 11, so we need to actually reserve our life total at this point. Get the Water Grave. Our Ancestral goes to 1. We draw a Thought Scour. I don't think we have the liberty of waiting. If we're going to find a good spell, we need to find it pretty much right now. Find another Thought Scour and milled over at Tar Pit in a Thought Scour. Do it again. Found a Snapcaster in our yard now, so that's helpful. Alright, remember, they have a Bolt and a Snap in their hand, and we're essentially taking 6 more, so we're technically at 5. I think I'm going to pass and see if they want to fight with a Terminate on their turn over their Snapcaster Mage. Basically saying, hey, do you want to Spell Snare this or what have you? Alright, they're correctly just going straight to combat. We're going to go ahead and try to blow their guy up. Holding Swamp in my hand to possibly discard it to another K-Command, by the way. I think it's very unlikely that they make me discard, but ever giving them the option in a draw step where you have 0 cards in your hand is very problematic against this deck. Terminus is red right now on MTGO. There are very silly issues that I don't fully understand. Hey, Fallen Savior. Realistically, I really hope Jace the Mind Sculptor doesn't come back because I have not purchased a set of Disrupting Shoals yet, and I think that's a card that if Jace the Mind Sculptor somehow ever does get unbanned, which I don't think it ever will, just because the power level of the card and sort of the feelings it evokes are just too negative. But I wouldn't want Jace, or that I think Disrupting Shoal would gain a lot of value from Jace, just because you need another set of like fast spells to keep up with being able to play a bunch of 4-mana spells in your deck. Yeah, Fred Rubia is certainly 4. The deck would change completely. I don't think you would need Ancestral Visions or anything of that nature anymore. I think you would almost turn into like a mono blue control deck. You might be blue splashing red or what have you. I would start with 4 and cut from there. Yeah, I'm more in line with Squirrel Loot. I think that even thinking Preordain gets unbanned is sort of crazy. I don't actually believe that Wizards is going to take any action against Modern, as they have no reason to balance the format anymore, except for keeping people happy. So if there are truly too many people outraged that the format's imbalanced, then they'll do something. And I think people are sort of getting fed up with Infect being the best deck, because it's probably been the best or second best deck for a long while. And now Dredge is coming into play, and people are really unhappy with Dredge. Mostly because Dredge is just a horrendous deck to play against, and the things it does for the format are fairly... I don't know if sideways damaging is the way to explain it, but basically decks that are fun and cool take a lot of damage because Dredge exists, as well as... Our opponent disconnected? Come back, opponent, you were beating the heck out of us. I just want to lose the game already. I played horrifically. I don't deserve to win. Causes sideways damage on the other decks that want to use the graveyard in a like sort of fair manner. So we end up taking some graveyard hate in the sense that people want to put Relic of Progenitus in their deck, and Relic of Progenitus is a very good card against Grixis. I think Grixis is a cool deck to exist. I don't think it's a fantastic deck. But, I mean, it's the deck I love to play, and I think the things that I'm doing are really cool and fair, and I think that if this is the best thing going on in Magic, I think it's a great thing to be happening. Oh, yeah, give me 1 second, maybe, Abby. But yeah, basically I think that they could ban Become Immense. I don't think they'll ban Gitaxian Pro. I personally believe it's more of an issue than they're willing to let on. Then again, I think Phyrexian mana and just free spells in general is an issue. Like, I wouldn't have Mox Opal exist. I would want to give Affinity some sort of love. Like, I would want to bring back all the artifact lands. But, I mean, I think Mox Opal's over the line for things that allow sort of fast combo to exist. I think we're just lucky that we don't live in a world where fast combo with a bunch of artifacts is currently going on. Like, the most, egregious thing that's going on is people playing, a bunch of mill pieces of Lantern and Ensnaring Bridge, and I think that deck's just also heinous. So yeah, the play that you're talking about with the cryptic commands, so we cryptic their Snapcaster Mage on the basis of I didn't want them having a Snapcaster Mage in play and being able to buy back their Kolagons command. Very stupid, should have just let it happen. So making the first mistake was crypticking their thing. I should have just let them discard a card from my hand. I had infinite Terminates and they're all worthless. I don't believe at the time they had a creature to get back. If they did have a creature to get back, I think crypticking is fine, but I'm pretty sure they didn't at the time. The second bad play is after they cryptic back, their Snapcaster Mage can no longer flash back a spell. So they don't actually have any mana with which to actually flash back the Kolagons command. So me burning my Counter Squall that I want to on the next turn Counter Squall their Ancestral is just another horrendous play. Just let them put their cryptic command into the graveyard. It's pretty much signaling... I should have figured it out from that they had a Snapcaster Mage and not another Kolagons command. Because they wanted to put the cryptic in their yard, they already had 6 lands, and they were going to be able to fight to protect their Ancestral on the next turn, because tapping out in this matchup's like perfectly fine. It's not like a normal control mirror that you usually play in Standard, where if somebody taps out, one player plays, an Elspeth Sun's Champion, or an Aetherling, or some way over the top card that is just going to end the game on its own. In this matchup, we're sort of just fighting for possession, fighting for card advantage. I would argue, again, saying I've never played this, mirror match before, I would be willing to guess that the matchup actually comes down a lot to decking. And that somebody is just going to run out of resources and be unable to close the game out, especially after post-board. I think in Game 1 you're more likely to finish the game, but I think it's very possible you just deck out a lot in Game 1. So sitting there drawing a bunch of cards is just like, yeah, whatever. All you need to do is counter the cards that matter, which are the Snapcaster Mages, the Cryptics, and the Kolagons commands. And at that point, I had functionally countered a Kolagons command. I'd gotten them to put their Cryptic in the yard, and I should have figured out they had another Snapcaster in their hand. But their Snapcaster wasn't going to do anything, the one that was entering play on the stack that turn. So I sort of got derailed there, but the long story there was the Kolagons command wasn't actually going to do anything other than 2 damage to me and make me discard one of my Terminates. I should have let it happen. So the first mistake was crypticking it. The second mistake was, after they had tapped all of their mana, was then using my second counter to prevent their essentially draw a card, which would have been the draw a card off of the Cryptic, and instead of countering the draw 3 on the following turn, which would have tapped all of their lands and given me the potential to draw, say, a Snapcaster Mage of my own. Alright. I'm sorry, I got derailed there, and I like to ramble a lot. That's going to happen a lot in the stream. I'm going to have to work on it. I'm not very concise with my words. Catching up here with chat. Yeah, I mean, I agree with Affinity for Green. I don't think it's an issue in the sense of it's like bad for the metagame for it to exist. I think it's more of it's certainly bad for coverage. Like, it's a very polarizing deck where a ton of people don't want it to exist. They think it's very boring to watch. I think when you're the player playing against it and you actually have a number of ways to interact with it, like if you're a Jund player, you're a Grixis player, you're an Infect player, I think any of those decks, I think also a Burn player, it's also really fun to play against that deck, where you aren't just locked out of the game when they assemble their combo. There's always a bunch of weird little things that you can do to try to gain percentage points back, where Jund has Dark Confidant, they have Liliana, like they have ways to actually catch the game back up. In this deck you have, say, Thought Scour, Kolaghan's Command, Snapcaster Mage. Ancestral is actually really good also, where you can just set up a draw 3, and it's like, well, they get to see all the cards because of Lantern, but, I mean, they can't, in the middle of, you draw 1, you reveal the next card, and they can mill you. Like, that's not how draw 3 works. Like, I think it would be a bad deck, though, if that were the best thing, because that's a Prison deck, and I think Prison decks being the best deck is just not a great thing. Like, if the deck that people are calling Sun and Moon, the Blood Moon deck that was playing Elspeth Sun's Champion for a while, with Chalices and Blood Moon, there's some versions of it online that play Ghostly Prison. Like, if that were the best deck, I think it'd be really bad for Magic. I think decks that just say, hey, you don't get to play the game are the best deck, just leads to really unfun play patterns. And I mean, I personally would vote to just ban all of 8th edition. That'd make Tron players really unhappy. I know it's going to probably make some people here in chat pretty unhappy, but I mean, I think things like Blood Moon and Choke and the sort of hate cards of that nature, get out of here. You're just awful. How fast leaner decks to keep them in check? Tron, Valakut, and Bant Eldrazi will make Manner miserable. I mean, I think Bant Eldrazi is a fine deck. I think if Bant Eldrazi was the best deck in Modern, I think that's fantastic. People are casting 4/4 and 5/5 creatures, and it's pretty easy to find a way to fight 4/4s and 5/5s. However, I think Valakut or Tron being the best deck is also somewhat problematic. Alright, what's going on here? Our opponent has returned. They're back to battle. They're leaving up all their mana, they're going to discard here to hand size, and they're going to Snapcaster Cryptic us. We're going to be a sad panda. Well, they even discarded a real card. They discarded Thought Scour. To the Valakut and Tron thing being the best deck, I think those are not great to be the best deck, because any sort of thing where it's just another super difficult thing to interact with being the best deck, similar to how Lantern is just so hard to interact with them because they have so many moving parts. Being the best deck, I just think is like pretty poor for gameplay. It's not a Prison style deck in that sense, but it's more of a, yeah, you know you're gonna die and you just have to sit here and wait for it, similar to how Jace the Mind Sculptor feels, where it's just like, yeah, you're dead, but we have to sit here and wait for you to actually be dead. Ooh, nice, we drew another land, that's pretty good. I don't really know why I'm still playing this game, but we'll kill this thing, play a swamp, hope our opponent doesn't do anything. We're super dead here. We're sort of existing. I want to play Grixis Dark Confidant. That sounds sweet. Alright, opponent played another Creepy Tar Pit. We've got 1 card in hand, they've got 7. I'd say we're in a great spot here. Oh, they're playing another Tassiger, it's also good. Yeah, but you can still play the Awesome Island. If you have an island you love, you can always play it. We'll never take that away from you. Ooh, nice. Yeah, and we drew a Sulphur Falls. This is good. Alright, we're just gonna hold 2 lands in our hand and maybe our opponent won't kill us for a few turns. I don't really know what we're hoping to draw again. We basically need to go Snapcaster, like K-Command and Snapcaster into something. Alright, we'll give back a Thought Scour. They have 2 Snappies in their yard. They've already proven they don't like casting Thought Scour. They should Thought Scour me here if they didn't like casting Thought Scour on themselves for some reason. Oh, they did Thought Scour me. Oh man, our opponent is actually like well tuned in this matchup. I just play ad nauseum in Modern because I don't care about Modern. Brandon, that's awesome. Wrecking audio. My goal is not to make Tron players mad. It's more of a I want to do what I think is sort of best for the overall health of the format and overall health of the game. And all right, there's the bolt that we knew about. I think that's better than discarding. And I think if Tron existed as the best deck, like say somehow you did ban all the linear aggro decks that sort of hold Tron in check, and Tron did become the best deck, I think that'd be an issue. Who baby, we're doing it. We drew Serum Visions. That's game. Oh yeah, we got another land. I'm not saying I'll deserve drawing all these lands, because I certainly do, but... Alright, hopefully we play better game 2. Alright, well wisher. You asked for a concession, we will do that. We are done on the board, so... Alright, so Grixis control mirror. The bolts are pretty poor, the engineered explosives are pretty poor. We have some dispels, we got the negate now. I should really work on something where I just have like a constant response. Ban everything until Tron is good, and then everything is bad. Squirrel Loot, it's not a card that I thought about too much about. I think it's a card that could see some play. In the current configuration, I'm not like really high on it. But it's a card I could see doing some work. I mean, free casting your Ancestral Visions is kind of silly. Oh, no, I think the place where Tron is at right now, Fixel, I 100% agree. I think Tron is a deck that if you show up to a tournament, you can easily win the tournament. Your deck is powerful enough, and if you're a good enough Tron pilot, you can certainly win a tournament. And it's a very good metagame deck where if there's a bunch of mid-range decks like Abzan, Jund, Grixis, things of that nature, you're going to be a great spot. But yeah, I think Tron's at a perfect spot right now. I would not hate on anybody who wants to play Tron. Alright, we got 2 minutes to sideboard here. We definitely want the Fulminator Mages. I like Fulminator Mage in the blue mid-range matchups, mostly to knock off the opponent's lands, because you get into counterspell wars pretty frequently. I expect the games to still go super long. I don't expect anybody to die in just like an unreasonable fashion. I think we need some number of Terminates to fight Tassiger, so I think I'm going to leave 1 in. I'm trying to figure out how many bolts to leave, and I certainly want to cut 2 because there's just too many dead cards here. I don't know if we want Surgical. I think we could realistically also board in Surgical, but I know we want these 6 for sure. I'm trying to think if there's anything else here that's just like truly horrendous. I think on the play all 4 Cryptics are probably good. You could probably shave 1 on the draw maybe. Alright, I don't think I'm going to board in Surgical this time. Yeah, screw it. Actually, let's try 1 Surgical. This is a matchup, again, I've never played before, so I'd rather try things out. So we got 1 Bolt here, 1 Terminate. We're going to board out 1 Cryptic, and we're going to bring in 2 Dispels, 1 Negate, 3 Fulminary Mage, and 1 Surgical Extraction. No idea if this is correct, no idea if this is even good, but it sounds cool to me in theory, and for some reason I cannot click and drag cards in my deck. I don't know what's going on there. That's probably just user error, and I'm very silly. Click, drag. Alright, that was weird. Definitely don't want any of these Wraths. Our opponent's not splashing white for Geist or anything silly. Don't need EE. Staticaster's bad. We're not going to get burned out. Don't need Sun Droplet. Alright, let's give this a whirl. I have no idea if it's good or bad, but it sounds sweet to me in base theory, where Surgical, if we can try to cack all of their Snapcaster Mages, sounds great. Fulminator fighting them on the land base is also awesome. Christ, I need a better mic. Oh no, I just bought this mic. I really like it. Man. Gabby did say she was going to help me with it offline, so hopefully it's just like user error in the setup. Yeah, we are down to 6 commands. That is pretty poor. Alright, we got a K command, a couple Thought Scourers, and an Ancestral. We're going to snap, keep this hand. We also have Polluted Delta. We don't really need double red, but we have access to it. Let's get a Water Grave out there, and we'll suspend Ancestral. Try to unlock all these again. Alright, hopefully we can play better this game. Tar Pit, drew a Snappy. I think it's possible we want to play a double Thought Scour here, so I'm going to go ahead and play the Delta with the intention of double Thought Scouring myself in a turn to fill up a graveyard for Snapcaster Mage. Also going to... I think I'm going to fetch a second Water Grave, because it's more likely we need double black because of the counter squalls than we do need double red. So we also boarded down to 1 Bolt and 1, excuse me, not Terminate. Yeah, Terminate. So it's not like we have that many red spells in our deck. Also drew a Sulphur Falls, we drew a Creepy Tar Pit. Creepy Tar Pit's great. No creatures milled over, however. We did mill over 1 bolt, so that's interesting to keep track of. We drew a lot of lands there. Didn't find a counter spell though, that's also awkward. Our opponent milled themselves, and they hit a Serum Visions and a Steam Vents. Of note, we milled over a second Polluted Delta. Try like 50%? Yeah, of course. Give me one moment here. Alright, we drew a Cryptic, so we're going to start holding up mana. Let's play the Sulphur Falls, so we have K-Command, Cryptic, Snapcaster, the whole wide world up. Let's turn down the mic volume ever so slightly. Alright, hopefully that's better. No worries in view of it. I thought you were saying Christ. Either way. Oh yeah, Ever. We're not changing. Alright, opponent fetched up an untapped Steam Vent, so they correctly got their second Steam Vents here, so they're going to snap Thought Scour themselves. Again, we don't really have a thing to get back. I don't see any merit in really fighting over the Snapcaster Mage just yet. I don't think our opponent's really going to be able to tempo us out from here, but my current plan here is to fight a counter war over my Ancestral, and hopefully we don't get double countered. But if something weird pops up here, we can sort of change our line. Alright, so we're going to put this Ancestral up there. This should likely get countered. If it gets fought over with a Counter Squall, we'll have to figure out if we want to keep going for it. Okay, it does get hit by a Counter Squall, so this will drop us to 11. So if they have a spell here, we're tapped out, we're on board going to 6. And they have 6 cards in hand. Yeah, I think we're going to stick with the original line and just try to fight a counter war over this, because I think I need the 3 cards given that my hand's pretty poor. And I'm not that concerned with my life total right now, but maybe I should be. Alright, so they have this spell, these 2 get countered, I follow 11, I play a Creeping Tar Pit and pass the turn. And that gives us a good incentive to start moving here. So this will allow us to blow up either the red source or a Creeping Tar Pit that attacks, and can also block a Snapcaster Mage, basically fog for a turn. Alright, they also left in bolt. Alright, well, if we die because I'm very dumb, then that's going to be sweet. At least I will have learned a lot from this matchup. The Windows settings might need to be turned down. You mean like my base volume on my computer? I thought that was only for sounds that came in from me. I'm not a computer wizard, unfortunately. I'm not the smartest with computers. It took me 3 hours to get all this stuff set up today. I am not sharp with this. Alright, so what do? They are returning their Tasigur and making me discard. So they're also going to play a Tasigur here momentarily. So on our turn, we can Snapcaster, Bolt, and Kolaghan's command the Tasigur if we discard the Fulminator Mage. This would also leave us a Snapcaster in play. We can shock buyback the Fulminator, and we could... So that would leave us still going to 3, however, as the Creeping Tar Pit on the board can attack us. Trying to think there's a better line where we Kolaghan's command, shock their Snapcaster Mage, buy back our Fulminator, but then we have to keep the land to end up playing 2 spells in that turn. So we need 6 lands to be able to do that. Looks like my line on turn 4 may have just been like truly really, really bad, where we needed a Snapcaster, a Thought Scour back, or Snapcaster, a Bolt, and kill their Snapcaster and actually start pressuring them. This is bad. I didn't play this game well either. Yeah, I'm going to go to the Fulminator Mage. On the basis of, I think we need a 6th land to actually play. I assume they're going to leave themselves with a Dispel and a Bolt at this point. They have, what, 8 cards here, so they can leave themselves a Dispel, Bolt, and K-Command. Dispel, Counter Squall, Lightning Bolt, okay. Drew a Snare a little late. Okay, so now we need to figure out if the Tassiger is the biggest threat on the table. They have 4 cards in their hand, all 4 spells. So option 1 here is to Snap Bolt K command the Tassiger. Another option here is to just straight pass, go for Snapcaster in combat, blocking the Tassiger. We would take 2 from the Snapcaster Mage, falling to 4, and then on end step we would play the Bolt on the Tassiger and then K command the Snapcaster and make them discard. That line is probably the most optimistic and the least likely to work, but might be the one we need the most to get back into the game. Yeah, Affinity, that was where I ended up messing with the volume. Hopefully that helps a bit more. Trying to figure out how big of a risk we need to take here to try to get back into the game. I think trying to set up some weird line where we like Creeping Tar Pit, block before damage, tap the Creeping Tar Pit, and like Kolaghan's command the Tassiger and buy back the Fulminator Mage. I think that line's just like really out of the question. I don't think that that's going to get us anywhere back into the game. Trying to think if there's any counterspell we can ever actually realistically beat. So based on them leaving Counter Squall in the graveyard over Kolaghan's command, my instinct is to believe they have a Snapcaster Mage or Kolaghan's command in their hand and not another counterspell, which makes me want to take the other line, and I don't think I can beat a counterspell with this hand anyways. I'm really worried about them just firing up the Tar Pit also. I think if they fire up the Tar Pit, my line's going to have to be play Snapcaster, Bolt to target Bolt, Bolt the Creeping Tar Pit, block the Snapcaster Mage, fall to 2, Kolaghan's command, make them discard a card, get back my Fulminator Mage, probably. Alright, I think that's the line I'm going to take. I don't like it. I think it's the one that gives me the best chance to win, though, because I just don't think I can actually realistically win if any of my opponent's 4 spells are just proactively killing me. And again, it's another thing where if it's Kolaghan's command, I don't know how I'm beating that. I don't really know I'm beating most of their spells, unfortunately. Alright, so thankfully they're not firing up the Tar Pit. We're going to go and flash in Snappy here. We're going to target you, old Bolt, assuming he resolves. Awesome, thanks Cord for 4. It is unfortunately a Cryptic. Not a card I thought I could beat. Oh boy. So I definitely want a Kolaghan's command here in response, because I don't want the Snapcaster back at this point. I think I need the Fulminator Mage back, is that right? Nope, I actually do the Snapcaster max. The Fulminator Mage on the red source, I'm still just going to dot everything else on board. Okay, so to let this resolve, and then we're going to have to shock and buy back our Snapcaster. You can say we played this game very badly, and you would be very conservative in your estimation of how poorly I've played this game. But thankfully it's a learning process, so hopefully we learn. Alright, unfortunately doing another Snapcaster. Still can't answer what's going on the board. We're going to pass back again. Probably just dead to a Kolaghan's command that I assume they have in their hand. Hopefully just get bolted. That'd be sweet too. If all the games play out this way, which is not how I would anticipate them playing, much more similar to like a Grixis Delver strategy. Do you snare your own Snapcaster? So Dino, the problem I have with that is I don't think preventing them from drawing a card is going to get me closer to winning the game. Like, sure, it removes the one target for their spell, but I don't think it gets me any closer to actually fighting through all of their resources to win. So I'm going to go ahead and target the Bolt here because I have a second Snapcaster Mage to target the Kolaghan's command. You can Cryptic Tap bounce the Tar Pit. Could do that. I would be more inclined to do that if they actually ever animated their Creeping Tar Pit. So this is terminated on the Snapcaster Mage. So what horrible thing happens to us here if we snare this? I can't really think of one, because they should Counter Squall on the stack if that occurs, but at that point if they had a Counter Squall, Like, I'm not beating the counter scroll at any point in this game. Like, I'm going to lose the counter scroll on 3 turns, so let's go and fight over that. Okay, so it looks like we're going to get to survive for this turn. I'm not going to bolt their Tassiger until end step because I don't want them playing another one. Like, they actually very realistically should just play another Tassiger here if they have it. Like, they don't care if I just bolt them in the face or leave my lightning bolt in the graveyard. Alright, let's go ahead and kill this dude. If they had a Dispel, they would have fallen over the Spell Snare. Alright, they're going to Thought Scour themselves. They hit a Cold Guns come in and a Thought Scour. Alright, we hit a Counter Squall. So I don't have 7 mana, so I can't let Cold Guns come in and do shenanigans here. So we're unfortunately just going to pass. So we don't want to tap mana and just be dead to a Creeping Tar Pit on the table. So, being at low life has also gotten us in this pickle. Okay, I guess I could see how the matchups play much more similar to this, mostly because of Counter Squall's added benefit. You're usually going to take about 4 damage from your lands. Okay, this makes much more sense to me. That would also help explain why Surgical was not what I wanted to bring in based on intuition. Oh, Brendan, I do not anticipate coming back from this. If we come back from this, that would be, the Christmas miracle, as they say. Fallen Savior, I think that the person that suggested that in the chat was more so talking to... sorry, let me cryptic this. So we're done if this thing resolves. I think I'm going to Cryptic Bounce. I guess I can't... Oh, no, I can Cryptic Bounce because they didn't fetch a Water Grave for who knows what reason. I think they were talking about if they animated the Creeping Tar Pit so that we could tap their team and bounce one of the Tar Pits to set them off a land drop if they've played a land that turn. I don't think the play is necessary. I'd rather just, tap and draw at that point. Okay, so we're going to return target permanent to its owner's hand and counter target spells. We're going to counter Tassiger and return Snapcaster to her hand. And if that doesn't work, then this doesn't work, and that sucks. Alright, and there's Snapcaster Bolt. Alright, off to a great start. 0-1, playing very poorly. Probably should have practiced this before trying to stream it. I don't know why Moto won't let me concede, but I'd love to concede for my opponent because they've earned a victory. Yeah, I'm already dead. That would explain why. Alright, well, let's try to play better this round. Hey, Danny. What's up, buddy? Alright, hold on. Aber, we need to correct this problem. Alright, fix that problem. Oops. Fix this problem. Alright, there we go. Mod all the great mods and good friends. Thanks for coming out, everybody. This is really fun for me. Hopefully my horrendous play is at least helping you in some manner. Oh no, the opponents certainly played way better than us, and they had played like they at least knew what was going on. I was sort of bumbling through things and had no idea what I was doing. It was pretty clear that I had never played the matchup before and didn't really know what to expect. I did not anticipate the sideboard game playing out much more like a Grixis Delver game where it felt like it was a tempo matchup. I think before Vancouver, I do believe that people are going to start playing Grixis, that I would want to play the mirror probably 10 or so times. Danny, it's awesome. My Christmas was good, actually, Aber, thanks. I hung out with some family, ate a bunch of food. That's probably more of a not great thing to do, unfortunately, as I'd rather sit here and work out a little bit more, but I'm a lazy bum and just don't do much with my life. I have a Cryptic Command and 6 lands, so we're not going to keep that. Thankfully, I did win the die roll. And here we have a 1-laner. We can't cast any of our spells. We're going to be going to 5. And here we have Serum Vision and a Tassiger. Hopefully our top cards are great. Terminate. Don't want to terminate. Alright, I really want to find a Thought Scour with Serum Visions. I'm going to go ahead and shock myself. I just need to get the ball rolling here with this hand. It's a fine 5, not a great one. Certainly don't want this Cryptic. I don't think I want this Island either. This Island doesn't really do anything for our hand right now. But yeah, Vancouver's going to be great, Well-Wisher. Yeah, but I'm going to go to basically every modern Grand Prix until I start losing every match in the world with Grixis, which, don't worry, we're starting that right now against this burn deck. As we're already at 15 life, and we've got 2 Ancestrals in our hand, and we're on 5 cards. The taste is starting out great after we just cut that Sun Droplet. I liked Vancouver. I think still my favorite city that I've traveled to is Toronto. Toronto, I think it's just a thing of Canada. Everyone's super nice, like painfully so. And I just really like the sort of scene of Toronto. Alright, here we're at 10 life. They have a Swift Spear. They've played 2 spikes, so their hand should be all instant speed burn. We would go to 8 and we would shock and make them discard. I'm trying to think of any series of 4 cards that we could beat that doesn't involve 3 lands. Can't really think of one, but we're still going to, I think, need to fire this off because we're taking 2 damage off our shock land, and we're going to take at least 2 damage off the Swift Spear on the next turn. So it ends up at probably the bare minimum. At the bare minimum, we lose an extra point of life because we're going to end up shooting their guy on our turn, and it would only attack us for 1. So in you know, just pure math sense, they deal us 1, we took 2, we ended up taking 1 more damage than we needed to. However, I would expect them to cast 1 or 2 spells in their next turn, so we're either netting up even on shocking ourselves here and using the mana on our turn, or we're ending up some amount of life. However, in the worlds we end up life, I don't know how we survive anyways. That being said, I'm going to kill the Swift Spear and pray that my opponent has a lot of lands in their hand. I guess we could beat a hand of Swift Spears. They discarded Lightning Helix. That card's not very good in the matchup. That is 2 damage, 2 mana, deal 3 damage. You feel bad they live next to us. How am I still alive? I got Boros Tron and Bolted. Alright. Tough but fair. Alright. Yeah. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and Snapcaster Serum, so we're not beating a burn spell. We're not gonna play around Searing Blaze, that's just silly. I'm not anywhere near close going Snapcaster, Colonon's Command. I just need to keep setting up my draw. It doesn't really get anything closer for Tassiger, unfortunately. But sitting there and holding a Snapcaster in your hand, like thinking that you're going to ambush a Goblin Guide and get your opponent, I think is just super silly and just super short-sighted. So the Colonon's Command's great. The Lightning Bolt, however, not so much. We'll take the Colonon's Command. We have a great fetch line here we won't be able to crack, unfortunately, in a game 1. Trying to think if there's any reason to put it to play. Can't think of one. We're just going to go and pass. Not sure our opponent more information. Alright, Well-Wisher, you're right, that was a mistake. I should not have said every modern Grand Prix. How about every North American Grand Prix? If they put one in Mexico, they put one in the US, they put one in Canada, I'll certainly go there. Alright, well, we're unfortunately getting clobbered every game. That game I think we played well, though, we mulliganed correctly. However, after our change to the sideboard, we still just have 4 cards for burn. Engineered Explosives again, not super hot. These Ancestrals, not super hot. I think we're going to end up leaving 1 in the deck, because I don't want to bring in any of these other cards. So we're going to go ahead and cut Engineered Explosives and 3 Ancestrals for 1 Sun Droplet, 1 Negate, and 2 Dispels. And we're going to hope to draw a significant amount better, and hope our opponent's going to draw a significant amount worse, because this matchup's not very good. So Returning Dawn, I don't actually know. I haven't played Grixis Delver enough to know the sort of differences between it. I personally am not a big Delver fan. I find that relative to Legacy, people play a lot more removal in their decks in Modern than they do in Legacy. Therefore, Delver just loses a lot of its value. Also, people are just playing very flimsy decks in Legacy because the cards are so powerful, you're incentivized to just go crazy. Dear Lord. So this is a turn 1 Ancestral. We would be at 18 because we would want to play our Steam Vent so that on turn 2 we could play Swamp and terminate something. After that we would want a Polluted Delta, fetch a tapped Water Grave, and cast Serum Visions. The problem with this is this hand doesn't really get us anywhere. That being said, if we're mulliganing hands like this with only one Sun Droplet in our deck, I don't think we can realistically expect our 6s to be that much better. I mean, we have a good mix of lands and spells. It's unfortunate because our blue cantrip cards are not great in a burn matchup. I think we have to keep this card. Or this hand, excuse me. I'm going to keep it. I don't love it. I would expect this is at the bottom of my keep range, probably in the 55 to 60th percentile of like 7-card hands. I would not expect to beat burn on a 7-card hand with this opener. What's up, Zach? Thanks for the resuit, man. Holy cannolis. That's a freaking vexing double. No, I don't want to take 4 damage. You can have a 4/3 that I'll kill. What are they? Alright, thankfully we drew a Snapcaster Mage there. That's pretty important. We're going to kill this right now. Hopefully our opponent doesn't play Eidolon. The reason to kill it right there is I don't want to get caught in a spot where my opponent Boros Charms to Indestructible that thing, and then I'm left in a spot where I can't realistically kill it for some number of turns. Alright, there's the Eidolon that I didn't want to see. We drew a Counter Squall, also not great. My current plan here is I'm going to try to flash in Snapcaster Mage and block and just really hope that my opponent doesn't have a Lightning Bolt. If they have to Boros Charm Indestructible this, it's not as bad, but we're still in a pretty crappy spot. As I would expect, if our Snapcaster Mage block doesn't work here, we're at a minimum of 16, likely at 14 because we take the damage from the Eidolon, and then I assume we have to cast at least 1 more, likely 2 more spells into this Eidolon to ever get it off the table. And I don't think we can realistically try to do some shenanigans here where we wait for a 4th land and try to cast our Serum Visions. I think we're just buying into the fact that Eidolon's going to deal us tons and tons of damage. Okay, that Goblin Guide's good for us. Incentivizes our opponent to tap more mana in their main phase. So here we're going to go ahead and let them hit us. We're going to let the Goblin Guide trigger resolve first, as we have a higher percentage to draw land. That's a Thought Scarab. It's not a card we want at all. Alright, let's really hope this works. Go, Snappy Do. That's not good. Wow, they really have Steering Blaze in their deck post-board? Jeepers. Alright, well, we're a grand total of not a lot of life. That's really bad. We really needed a Bolt this turn. Bolt puts us to 6. We're technically at 4 from a Goblin Guide. That's a Blood Crypt. That's not going to do us anything. The Ancestral's also going to deal us 2 damage on the following turn. We don't have 3 blue. This is another one of those hope for Divine Intervention turns. So if we even hit a bolt off of this, we got a 6, we got a 4, we got a 2. They could have 3 lands in their hand, or for some reason no more Searing Blazes in their deck. So we have to cast the Serum Visions. Yes, I'll yield to your silly Eidolon. It's beating the heck out of me. Alright, we are dead. You win. We are dead. Oh yeah, but these games have not been close. Yeah, not favored against burn is about right. Some days it flips forever and you draw like a pro, but on other days you have 2 Delvers over 5 turns and maybe a cantrip and never flip. Yeah, I mean, I think you have to buy into that sort of variance if you're going to play Delver. Like, you put 30 spells in your deck and it's like 50% of the time it's going to flip, but it's not actually, you know, it flips this turn or flips the next turn. Some games it doesn't flip for 5 turns, and some games it flips immediately, and you have to sort of, you know, balance those out as best you can. Oh yeah, Holy Diva, this deck is much worse on Magic Online than it is in physical paper. In physical paper, people like to play Alzan and Jund a lot more. So you play against a lot more fair decks, and this deck is aimed at going over the top of the other fair decks as well as prey on the linear decks. Linear decks speaking similar to Infect, looking for creatures that have the Infect keyword. Things like Affinity, Merfolk, Slivers, any sort of the creature-based strategies. Like, the deck wants to play against a creature deck. It doesn't want to play against a deck that's want to, aim 10 burn spells in my face, which makes burn a really bad matchup. Lantern's another great matchup that I'd love to play a ton. Alright, but let's try to turn the train around here. Alright, we're going to end up playing a Tar Pit tapped on turn 1 with this hand, Suspended Ancestral Visions, a 2k commands, and a Cryptic. On the second turn, we'll be able to play a Bloodstained Mire and hold up Spell Snare, so this hand's fantastic. We're winning a lot of die rolls, not winning a lot of games. So hopefully we can do the opposite this round. Cavern of Souls naming Human. I have no idea what this deck is. But I know my Spell Snare is probably not very good in this matchup. I guess I could have just fetched on turn 1. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I'm really stupid. I should have just fetched on turn 1. Now I just have an Ancestral on 1 less counter. I guess I'm potentially saving 2 life. Holy crap. They have 2 Caverns in play on Human and they played a Dark Confidant? Yeah, okay. Sure. Okay, so I have no idea against what we're playing against. I'm guessing this is like some 5-color Humans deck, and my computer's doing that weird flickering thing that I wanted to fix before streaming. I thought I fixed it, but apparently I didn't, so that's not great. I will work on fixing that also. I couldn't get the second monitor to display properly. Here, we're not going to get a Blood Crypt, so we do have Cryptic Command. Cryptic Command is not going to really counter anything, but we're going to look to bounce a permanent at some point and try to draw a card off of it. I'm going to go ahead and get us a Water Grave here, I think. This is a match where we likely might need double red rather than double black, so I'm going to go Steam Vent, sorry. Sorry to trick everybody there. Alright, there's another black source, so that's pretty great. Let's go ahead and kill this right now, make them discard, kill their Dark Confidant. Stupid human tricks. Typing on the phone if my... Seems like he had a lot of troops as calm for burn. Would a Heatwave effect have been good there for that matchup? So the problem with playing like a Pyroclasm or an Anger of the Gods style effect there, M4, N7, 1C. Mantic? Oh, it's Mantic, I'm sorry. Playing that kind of effect there would have been... I think it's just too slow to interact with them, essentially. What the hell? Is that a human? Alright, alright. My opponent's on a different level than me. They know what cards are humans and I don't. Blue human? Blue-white Geist? Mantis Rider. Alright, well I don't have a bolt, so that's going to do me some damage. This is freaking fantastic. I have no idea what's going on. Alright, I'm just going to hold up Cryptic and look to bounce their Mantis Rider on end step. I'll take another 3 points of damage from it because I doubt a deck with a bunch of Cavern of Souls can play that much burn. Holy crap, that's a Kythian. What is going on in this game? Oh, cool. Yeah, it looks like 5-color Human Aggro, Returning Dawn, and Danny are on it. I don't know what the heck's going on, but this is sweet. And Walker, I think you're Noah Walker. Oh yeah, welcome to the O2 bracket. You will find a lot of sweet things here. This is what I get for not playing the O2 bracket enough. Humble brags. And by that I mean we're getting our ass kicked. A Lightning Mauler, goodness gracious. Alright, well, so much for Cryptic Command bouncing something. Trying to think what the best course of action here is. We're going to let this resolve, or see what he pairs with. If our opponent pairs with the Mantis Rider, so if they pair with Mantis Rider, I need to make a decision. If they pair with Kythian, I certainly want to kill Kythian, I'm pretty sure. But they have no white mana. Maybe I still want to kill the Lightning Mauler. We'll see. I would expect them to pair with... Why does it not tell me what they're pairing with? Silly Soul Bond. Oh, I guess it's a May, so you actually get to choose on resolution. That's cute. Okay, so what I'm going to be getting in combat, I think we're going to kill the Lightning Mauler, we're going to fall to 13, we're going to Thought Scour ourselves, We then have 1 turn remaining on our Ancestral. So at the end of the day, we just need to find a way to turn the corner. Already found a Snapcaster. That puts a Tassiger in the yard. Okay. So the Tassiger now in the yard. I want to bring back Tassiger. Tassiger holds off the Kythian indefinitely until it turns into a Planeswalker. I don't want to leave this haste creature in play because I don't know what other like crazy human flyers there are, and I don't really just want to look it up right now. I just want to kind of try to adapt on the fly here. I think I'd rather make them discard a card as I'm more fearful of the weird card that could be in their deck rather than getting back my Tassiger, but that could be incorrect. I've got 2 more turns on this, so yeah, let's go ahead and target player discards a card and let's kill the Lightning Mauler, I think is what I want to do. Worst comes to worst, in the next turn I can Cryptic, like, tap their team and draw a card, or potentially tap their team, bounce their Mantis Rider, or something of that nature to prevent this Kythian from flipping. So we absolutely cannot deal with the Planeswalker coming out. Alright, so we fall to 13. They discarded a second Kythian, that makes sense. Drew a millionth Kolaghan's Command, so that's cute. I think we're just going to ship it back here. If they play white mana, I might feel a little silly, but I'm not that concerned. This looks like another Lightning Mauler coming out. It's fine. They chose not to Soulbond, so they're going to Soulbond whatever this card is. This is a Soldier of the Pantheon. So I certainly want to, if I'm going to kill the Lightning Mauler, I want to kill it in response to this so they don't gain a life. This will put them down to 0 cards, and then I get to draw 3 more. Assuming one of them's a land, I would be at 8, and I can Snapcaster a Kolaghan's Command, kill the Kythian in their draw step, make them discard a card, so I'm technically then at 5. So I'm at 5 facing what is essentially just a Mantis Rider, and then we have mirroring sort of ambush Vipers and 2/1 creatures. So I think that's my best course of action, so I'm going to go ahead and make them discard their final card, kill their Lightning Mauler. I'm going to fall to 8 here. Hopefully just fall to 4 on my turn. And a Fenza. Holy cannolis. There are some cards in this deck. It's down to 8. Drop to 7. That's not a lot of lands. That's not a lot of good cards. Okay, this is unfortunate. Okay. Now we're in a pickle. Trying to figure out if it's correct to gamble for a land here on our Thought Scour. We're at 8 life. We'd be going to 1 on the board, and we could snap Thought Scour. The Kythian would transform, though, so I think it's just too bad. I think I'm just going to pass and look to Cryptic. I'm going to tap their team, and if they count us to a spell pre-combat, I'll maybe bounce the Mantis Rider, but I think I should have to draw a card regardless. It might be correct here to do it in the main phase, but I'd rather than potentially leave up mana for Kythian, I think. I don't really see what them drawing a card does, because I can't really realistically be playing a counter unless there's some creature counter spell that's a human that I can't possibly have ever seen before. Alright, drew a Lightning Bolt. It's a good card. Ooh, this is getting dicey. Okay, so we may have to Snap Bolt Snap here. They still don't have white mana. So I think we're going to Bolt Snap Bolt. I want to do it right now, I think. So I don't want them drawing white mana and then be able to Indestructible the Kythian. So let's go ahead and Bolt the Mantis Rider and see if anything horrendous happens to us. I'm basically leaving these Ancestral Visions dangling for a while because I just need to address the board issues. Snapcaster back our Bolt. Kill this silly, potentially indestructible creature. Alright, next turn we can start suspending Ancestral Visions or leave up Cryptics, not that counterspells do much. Are they bolting my Snapcaster? Fair enough. Fair enough. Did I say Snap Bolt Snap, Zach? Let me not. Yeah, more Snap. See, it was Snap Bolt Snap. I just had to draw the other bolt off top of my deck. I don't have 2 Snapcasters, but I just had like 3 bolts. So let's go ahead and Thought Scour ourselves here using our Creeping Tar Pit. Drew Water Grave, that's really great for us. So we'll go ahead and bolt this silly soldier. I guess we can wait and see if they're on Mantis Rider. So we'll still tap this for Ancestral. Play a tapped Water Grave to preserve our life total. Beginning of combat, we'll kill this thing, so I don't know if there's some like weird human combat trick I've never seen before. We're not getting hit by a Mantis Rider, so that's great. Engineered explosives. Do I know a number that seems reasonable? They have Mantis Rider, that's pretty terrifying. They've got a bunch of weird 1-drops. I think I'm more likely to want to be reactive with this card than proactive with it, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tap the Water Grave to suspend another Ancestral, leave up Cryptic. It's not usually great to stagger your Ancestrals one turn after another. Usually it's better to have them 1 on 4 counters, 1 on 2 time counters, because you want enough time to get all the spells out of your hand. But holy crap, it's a City of Brass. Why would you not just play Mana Confluence? Can they actually... Oh, maybe they can limit the damage on the stack from a Lightning Bolt. Okay, never mind. But yeah, you usually can't get all the spells out of your hand, which is why you want to stagger them 2 turns apart. It gives you enough time to actually cast all the sort of nonsensical spells that your deck is able to draw, because a lot of your spells are just hyper-reactive. That you don't want to draw 8 cards over the course of 2 turns. You could sell as Caverns and just get better cards. Oh, they play Mana Confluence also, Danny? Okay. Oh yeah, Chaos, we were going to survive. We just needed to play slightly better than we had. Okay, let's look at another Mantis Rider. So I think my plan here is I'm going to tap their team and draw a card, and then I'm going to expose this for 3 to try to kill it, because I don't want to go down to 3 life against a potential Lightning Bolt. I couldn't bounce it. I could bounce it and draw a card. Maybe that's better than just putting the E on 3. That might just be better, actually. Yeah, because they're just going to force me to kill it at some point. And I'm going to leave up all my mana on most turns anyways. Turn target opponent's center's hand, draw a card. Alright, let's do that one. Leave up a blue and a red in case you draw a Terminator or something of that nature and want to use it later. I guess this could get dicey if they have like some sort of hexproof effect, but I don't know if they have a hexproof effect, then my original tapping line's way better. Oh, we drew a Snapcaster Mage, you don't say. Okay, so this goes to 1 and 3, or 1 and 2, excuse me, from 2 and 3. Which gives us an even better incentive to try to put a EE onto the table. It also allows us to leave up Snapcaster Bolt, so blue, black, and red for an EE for 3. And now if our opponent runs their Mantis Rider straight into the CE, I'm going to think that they drew another 3-mana spell that they want to cast. I don't know what a 3-mana spell in their deck could be in their deck that I care about, because I certainly don't care about a 3-mana 4/4. But... okay, so this looks like a Lightning Bolt. Sure. And I guess if they drew 2 other bolts, then I'm gonna die. That would suck. I'd feel kind of silly. Sure. Alright, beginning of combat, let's kill their creature. Oh man, they did draw multiple bolts. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Guess I should have held up I guess I was going to die to that anyways. Alright, fair enough, whatever. They drew 2 bolts in 4 draw steps. Trying to think of a way I could have, like, realistic played harder on that. Bouncing your Mantis Rider ended up being better than expected. Nope, Surge of Life. Fair enough. Alright, Fallen Savior, thanks for hanging out. Alright, well, we're going to win some games. It's not going to be pretty, but we're going to do it. Anger of the Gods looked great. Damnation looked pretty solid. Is a Staticaster looks fantastic. Looked like they had a bunch of X1s. I'm not sure if like Dryad Militant's a human. I believe it is, but I'd expect that to be in their deck and that to be a problematic card. Things that I actively really hate are these Counter Squalls, these Spell Snares. So I guess the first thing to figure out is like, what are our truly horrendous cards? Get those the heck out of our decks. We had 2 Spell Snares snuck in our hand there at the end of the game. We absolutely don't ever want that to happen again. So there's 4 terrible cards, and we have 5 great cards to bring in. We could technically also bring in Dispel if they had something like... any of the hexproof tricks, Become Immense. I just can't realistically see them casting those in their deck. And Walker, you know a Walker I have to ask. But if I don't know, like, You just shrug your shoulders, it sucks, you lose. You win some, you lose some. It's a Dryad Soldier. Interesting. Thanks, Wellwisher, appreciate it. Yeah, Zetacaster does not kill Sword of the Pantheon. It would kill something like Dark Confidant, kills Kythian. It's not great that it does not kill, you know, the multicolored guy, or pro-multicolored guy. The Jerk Soldier of the Pantheon. I'm trying to figure out what other card we really want to cut here. All the Ancestrals are great. Bolts are great. Thoughtscour is great. Serum Visions. I guess Cryptic's probably our next worst card. It's kind of slow and reactive. Yeah, I don't think we really need that many counter spells against whatever the heck our opponent's doing. If they bring in a bunch of Blood Moons, like, I can't imagine them casting spells, so. Trying to think of what cards I would realistically expect them to bring in against us. Not really sure if there's any, like, hate bearish human type things, like is Thalia a human? Thanks, Zach. I would love to stray more. I'd like to win more, too, but hopefully those aren't mutually exclusive. I can't get this anger into my deck. What is going on? Alright, well, I'm going to click submit and see what happens. But Moto's telling me there's 60 cards in my main deck and 16 in my sideboard. Hopefully I'm not the only person saying this, but... Oh, what's up, Nate Walker? I remember you, man. Yeah, you win some, you lose some. You just shrug when you lose and go on with life. When you win, I mean, you win. Sweet. Alright, so here we have what is essentially a Watergrave Sulphur Falls Island. This puts one card into the graveyard. We'd have Ancestral, we'd have a Snapcaster on 2 to block, but 2 Tassigars. So it's pretty bad. I don't want a mulligan, but it's pretty bad. I think I'm going to keep it. I'm going to get... I guess I actually don't want to get a Watergrave with this. What I actually want to get is a Blood Crypt, because I want a second red source for the 2 Anger of the Gods that I hope are in my deck. Again, I don't really know what was going on with sideboarding. So, Chaos, it's not a matter of I'm looking to, say, kill like 3 things with Engineered Explosives that I would look to kill against something like Boggles. But what I'm looking to do is just put as much removal into my deck as humanly possible, and fight these sort of troubling permanents that my hand can't really deal with. So you look at this hand, and obviously my hand can't really deal with anything. And Engineered Explosives would be just mediocre in this hand. It would be a 3-mana removal spell for a 1-drop, or 4-mana removal spell to kill a 2-drop. Like, that's really bad. But when you have a hand that has 1 removal spell, say like a Kolaghan's Command like our last hand, it would have been really effective to try to, like, bring the whole thing together. Yeah, Danny, we can file for reimbursement in the O3 bracket. Where it can sort of pluck off the one troubling thing we can't deal with. So that last hand we didn't have a Bolt until too late. We took 6 damage off of Mantis Rider. It could correct that problem for us. So I have to lead on the island there because I want to get a Blood Crypt. Self Falls comes into play tapped. Champion of the Parish. Alright. But this is not going to allow us to play a Terminate, say on turn 2 if we draw Terminate here. Ooh! Thoughtscour. I like that. I'm trying to figure out if I want to fetch our Blood Crypt right this second. So I assume this champion's going to go to at least a 2-2, possibly even a 3-3. Trying to think if there's a world in which we want to go Flash and Snapcaster Mage to block it. At which point I'd be gambling on whether or not I mill over my Blood Crypt, but I'm giving myself the potential to Flash and Snapcaster Mage to block the champion if they don't have 2 more human 1-cost creatures. I think I'm going to give myself that option. Also have the backdoor option here now with this line of play where I could Thoughtscour myself into a Lightning Bolt if something horrible happens. I guess I should have thought first if Burning Tree Emissary is a human. I don't actually know if it is. Experiment 1. Oh, I've played against this deck before. I know what's sort of happening now. Alright, I'm just being foolish. This is bad. Alright, you have an Experiment 1. And you have a Kythian. Alright, let's go ahead and Thoughtscour ourselves in response. That's an Ancestral. We look very silly. Basic Swamp. So if I now fetch a Blood Crypt the Scalding Tarn, we have access to double black and double red, which is great. I don't think we really need any of these cards in our graveyard, so I'm just going to go ahead and hold on to the Scalding Tarn for a second, because I don't want to shock myself if I don't have to. I'm just going to put a Tasker onto the battlefield. Scythian starts at 3 loyalty. They can make it go to 5 to force my Tasker to attack. I'm currently looking to block a Champion of the Parish. I think I've played against this deck before, ever. Maybe not in the last year or so, but I think I've played against it before. At least have some vague idea of what it's doing. I might be like confusing it with, say, Burn or not Burn, sorry, Zoo. Perks of having no life. Alright, white, white. What is white, white? Is there some white, white? Oh, Thalia? Yeah, whatever, don't care. Alright, so they want to flip their Kythian, they have to suicide their 4/4 Champion of the Parish. We would end up falling to 13, they would end up getting their Kythian through and then flipping, likely forcing our Tasker to attack back at it, which I think is all fine, and a DND. Unless they, I guess, want to make their Thalia indestructible? Well, that seems a little silly to me. Man, I'm not attacking, so... And I think this thing is only a 4/4. Oh no, they indestructible their Thalia. Okay. Alright, terminate. So terminate currently costs 3, so if we want to terminate one of their gizmos over there, we're going to have to actually not suspend an Ancestral Hero, which I don't think is that big of an issue. Otherwise, we'd have to take 3 damage on the Scalding Tarn, which I'm not really in the mood to do. So I'm going to look to fetch a tap lane with the Scalding Tarn, again being the Blood Crypt, and I'm going to look to terminate probably this Thalia. So I believe this has indestructible like all the others. It's indestructible, still a Planeswalker, prevent all damage to be dealt to him this turn. Alright, so 6 1's 2/2, so this is going to be a Mantis Rider, I would assume. This is going to kill their own land with Gemstone. Holy cannolis. Alright, this deck's great. So, name an online card, card cannot be cast. Okay, so they're going to name Ancestral Vision, so we're going to end up killing this Meddling Mage here. God, this is awesome. My opponent's deck's so sweet. Okay, so now forcing my Tasker to attack. So let's go ahead and kill their Thalia. Again, we have to spend 3 mana for that. We're going to fetch down to 12, get our Blood Crypt. We're going to be drawing 3 cards here. Because... Oh god, I killed the wrong creature. I'm so stupid. Okay, well, we're going to have to Snapcaster on our turn. That was really bad. I'm sorry. Okay, so Snapcaster, terminate the Meddling Mage. Alright, that was really bad, and I just spaced out for a second. I'm really sorry. Bear with me, that was bad. Alright, kill this jerk. Thankfully I didn't try to throw the entire game away. I just tried to throw as much of it away as I could. Hopefully I have a blue source off of this. We don't. That's perfectly fine. We're going to put Gideon down to 2. Oh yeah, Sriracha. Facepalm, yeah, we need, if that's Failfish. Alright, yeah, we need more Failfishes for that. That was really stupid. Thanks, Cruise Klein. Sucking at Magic is what I excel at. Need the gain turned down and add a little compression. Okay, I don't know how to add compression, but I can certainly turn down the gain slightly more. Alright, so they're jumping at their Experiment 1. And then they bolted. That's fine. So we have more Tassigers where that came from. If they attack with their Gideon here, I'm just going to go ahead and chump block with Snapcasters. I don't really care. It doesn't really have an ultimate ability. And I'd rather just save 4 points of life rather than keep a silly 2/1 in plays. I have a million cards, and if the game goes on for 10,000 turns, I'm just going to win after 10,000 turns. Chris, you're fine, man. I didn't think you were trying to be a jerk or anything. I just thought it was funny. Like, I certainly played the turn as badly as humanly possible. I said I was going to kill the Meddling Mage and then I killed the Thalia. Like, who knows what I was doing? Alright, they named... Why would you name Cryptic Command? Your Cryptic Command doesn't even do anything. I can't cast it. Opponent, come on. Come on. We expect better of you. Alright, so here I can cast Lightning Bolt, Serum Visions, Ancestral, and Tassiger, so that is what I'm going to look to do. This is going to end up fetching us a third blue source and what is likely going to be a third red source. We're going to fetch a tap Steam Vents. We're going to bolt their Meddling Mage to get another card to the grave that we want to exile, as I want to leave the Lightning Bolt in the yard. So we're going to exile the Serum Visions. Excuse me, we're going to exile the Serum Visions, the Bloodstained Mire, leaving just the Snapcaster Mage. So I guess in theory we don't actually have to Lightning Bolt now. But we do want to play our fetch land first and crack it immediately because we want to Serum Visions and we don't want to have to shuffle the result away. So let's get our tap Steam Vents, tap our island for our Serum Visions. See another Serum Visions Scalding turn. The game's late enough that we have enough mana, we can keep the Serum Visions on top. That's perfectly fine by me. Drew a Mountain. Let's go ahead and suspend the Visions. Play Tassagoyf. Leaving ourselves a Snapcaster Mage. And ship it back to our opponent. Who, if they attack with their Meddling Mage, maybe I'll bolt it. I don't really know. Path to Exile. Alright, well. Now we have to figure out, do we want that Serum Visions on top? I think my plan's probably going to be at some point here to Cryptic bounce the Gideon, turn it back into a Kithian. So I'm trying to figure out if we want a basic land or if we would prefer that Serum Visions off the top. I think I prefer the Serum Visions off the top. So I'm just going to go ahead and bolt this Meddling Mage. And we're going to choose no on this Path to Exile, dropping ourselves to 7. No, I'd not like to use that ability. Fortunately, we can't Serum Visions on this turn because we only have 3 blue, so we end up drawing our Mountain. But the plan is going to be, we're going to Cryptic bounce the Gideon on the next turn. It's going to end up triggering the Champion. Do we care about that? No, because we can just bolt and block one of them. This falls down to 3. Should turn back to our opponent. Am I dropping packets over here? That's not great. I don't want to hear that. Alright, another Champion. That happening, do I want to do anything else? So not putting us to 5? No, that's fine. I'm trying to see if I wanted to tap their team, but I don't think I'm too concerned about my life total still. That could be a mistake. Maybe I'm supposed to be more concerned about my life total, but it doesn't really seem like what my opponent's doing is going to kill me. Alright, let's return to our permanent center's hand. We'll draw a card. Let's choose the Gideon. Leaving up Terminate mana. Right on schedule. Drew ourselves a Terminate. Kill that thing. Special ticks down again. We drew Damnation. Do we want to Damnation away these silly things? Maybe. Let's Serum Vision and see what we find. Find an Anger of the Gods and a Lightning Bolt. I don't think we need that Anger given that we have a Damnation. So I'm going to go ahead and bottom both of these cards. I'm just going to go ahead and cast this Damnation. Kill all the nonsense. Give our opponent another turn. Yeah, so Brody, we couldn't actually counterbalance there because their creature was uncounterable because of Cavern of Souls. Good idea though. I like the thought process. Alright, so go ahead and I guess we can bolt this now. I'm trying to think if there's an incentive to wait. Like, we have all the mana in the world, but we're gonna kill a Dark Confidant. And we have a Snapcaster Mage, so we're not like super concerned about holding a bolt. I guess I need to start playing faster. We have only 8.5 minutes. Not like this magic takes forever, but if we actually play a match where I have to play quickly, I'm gonna have to work on that. Do. Alright, Thought Scare, let's mill ourselves. We can't leave up Cryptic doing this, but this is fine. Serum Visions, Creepy Tar Pit, is it Static Caster? Yeah, we can keep both of these. We're going to draw a bunch of cards with Ancestral. Creepy Tar Pit will kill our opponent. Opponent is at 12, the Bolt will put him to 9, Snapcaster can put him to 6, Tar Pit to 3. Green, Experiment 1. Yeah, friend, that's not going to live very long. Alright, let's draw some cards. Kolaghan's Command. Alright, we're not going to fetch with this land unless we have to. I don't really think I need to clock my opponent yet. So I'm just going to pass and in their draw step. I'm going to make them discard and I'm going to get back the other Snapcaster Mage, and then I'm gonna Is It Static Caster to kill their guy. Return target creature, they discard a card, get back Snappy, you discard. 2 to 3. Flash in Is It Static Caster. Blast your guy. Tap. Attack you with Tar Pit. This turn I'm going to shock and discard them, and then I'm going to attack them with Tar Pit, Bolt Snap, Bolt them. Oops, I guess I should let them draw their card first. Shoot you, bolt you. Two, three. Attack you with my little friend. There will not be many impersonations on this or any sort of comedy displays, as I'm not a very funny person. So we'll try not to do voice acting. Alright, and let's bolt our opponent. Snapcaster. Get back bolt. And bolt our opponent. Alright. We have 7 minutes. We'll try to play fast this round. No APM. Oh no, our APM's negative. Our actions per minute are certainly below 0 right now. We're going to have to work on... This was something that I had happen a lot when I was recording the videos for CFB, was I noticed I talked forever and didn't actually play a game. I need to work on playing the games and talking simultaneously. So that will be on you guys to keep me honest on that. Like, Sears was good about it earlier, about just getting me to actually jump into the queue. Marology. The list is up there in the guide that Aber and Squirrel Loot, I believe, also ended up posting somewhere. I guess Squirrel Loot didn't actually end up posting it, just saying got beat by 2 seconds. The only changes that we've made so far to the list are the ones that I recommended to a lot of people in the comments, which was to switch out the Spire Bluff Canal for a Bloodstained Mire. Overall, it's weaker in, say, the burn matchups. The matchups where your life total is like super relevant. I would say probably in this matchup it's like a slight cost, not a major one. I mean, it certainly ended up costing us a point of life that we ended up losing by in game 1, so you could, you know, abstractly say it cost us the game. Like, we took 1 point of damage off of it, whereas Spire Bluff Canal we would have played on turn 1 or 2 would have cost us 0 life. And the other change we made was we cut one of the Sun Droplets because Burn's on the decline, and we put in a single copy of Negate to help out in the Tron matchups, the Valakut matchups, decks of that nature. Heck yeah, rhinos are awesome. My best friend, she got it for me for Christmas. It was a really sweet gift. I really love animals. No offense to people. I love animals a lot more than people, although I do enjoy people a lot more than I'm willing to give them credit for. People are pretty great. Like, I've met a lot of just fantastic people, especially in the Magic community, so shout out to all you guys and gals. But yeah, animals are a true love of mine. I think I'm just going to run this back. I'm trying to think if there's any reason to like switch any cards out. Can't really think of bringing in Sun Droplet. Seems too silly. Yeah, Marology Burn is pretty bad. Girl time, you're great in my book. Marology, I think Collective Brutality is like a solid card that I probably just need to give more tries to. Alright, here we have no blue source. We're going to mulligan. This hand has a turn 3 as a static caster. Hopefully it's going to be good enough. We're going to keep 6. They kept 6. You love DDoSing? Goodness. Hopefully you're not DDoSing me, so I don't know how to prevent that stuff. Like I said, I'm computer silly. I know how to turn my computer on, I know how to stream. Not very well, but I know how to do it. Alright, so we need to figure out if we want to turn 1 Ancestral here. I think I do. Trying to think if there's any reason to bolt this thing before I could potentially get 2 more counters next turn. What do they top or bottom? I guess I need to figure these things out quickly. They bottomed their card. Yeah, I just want to suspend Ancestral Visions. I'm not taking 5 damage off my lands this way, and at least 1 damage off this Experiment 1, but I don't think it's the end of the world as long as this Experiment 1 doesn't become unkillable this turn. Okay. Well, now I get to feel super smart, as I get to go to 15. Bolt this silly Experiment 1. Is there a reason to get a blood crypt? Yes. I would like a second black. Let's bolt the Experiment 1 before it goes out of control. And then on the next turn we go to 11, because we're going to take 2 on this turn, and then 2 on our turn to play a Water Grave untapped. We're going to kill a silly Thalia. Champion of the Parish. They have more humans. This could get dicey. Red. This is a Goblin Bushwhacker. That was a Burning Tree Emissary that I knew about earlier. Alright. So here... we're certainly shocking ourselves in that we're going to set up to Snapcaster Bolt. I think what I'm going to do is flash in the Staticaster to block, so we can block the Burning Tree Emissary and then also shoot the Thalia. So it'll save us a couple more points of damage. Black and red. This is Staticaster, so great. Alright, Lightning Bolt, you just spend 2 mana on that, friend. Alright, they are bolting it, so we're going to fall to 7. We get to kill their Thalia. Steam Vent, so we can put that into play tapped. I'm just going to Snapcaster Bolt the Champion right now, as I don't want... if there's some flash human, I don't want to get got by it. This could be really, really bad against a Mantis Rider. I think I can fight through a Mantis Rider with this. Maybe that's wrong. Alright, that sounds wrong enough to me that I'd rather wait. If I get got by this, I'm going to feel really silly, though. At this point, life preservation's above all, so there's just no reason to shock yourself to get the Thought Scour off earlier. We can sort of adapt what cards we need over time. Thanks, Swingling. You're awesome. Alright, so they drew a Cavern, but they're not getting out a Mantis Rider. So let's flash in Snappy Doo. Let's go ahead and bolt this right now to see if anything terrible happens to us. Nothing terrible happened yet. Kill off their other creature. Nothing else terrible happened. We get to draw 3 cards. That sounds terrible for our opponent. We drew a lot of Terminates. That's also pretty terrible for our opponent. So now we can Thought Scour. Then we can play Tassiger. We can leave up Terminate. So let's see. We just want to leave the Static Caster and the... is it Static Caster? Snapcaster. Alright. We're not going to fetch with this land until we absolutely need to. Opponent's at 20. We do need to start getting them dead. We just want to leave up this Ancestral as long as possible. Alright, we can't terminate that silly thing. We can't as a Static Caster. That's fine. I think this is a spot where I'd be willing to trade my Snapcaster Mage for a Soldier of the Pantheon, so I'm probably willing to attack this Tassiger given that information. Also given that, I think I'm going to flash in right now, because I want to leave Cryptic Command up on my turn. So, Snappy, get out there. It's time to beat down. Again, not cracking this line because I don't need to. I'd rather stay at 7 life given the opportunity. My opponent has a path here. I will counter it with this Cryptic, as it's their one last card in hand, and I'm not afraid about getting burned out at that point. Holy cannolis. Okay, I guess that could be in their deck. I didn't think about it. Alright, that only puts 1 counter on that, though, so that's fine. I can't counter it anyways. Alright, given that, let's terminate this thing. They gained a life, that's fine. Serum Visions, again, don't really need to cast that yet. Just beating down slowly but surely here. If they have another Thalia's Lieutenant, like, sure, I may have to chump block with a Snapcaster Mage. I think that's fine. It subsides my offense. Not super stoked about that. But it's not the end of the world. Burning Tree Emissary. That's fine. Alright, here I would like to free up my mana a little bit more. I'm going to burn this because I have 2 cryptics. Let's go ahead and get another Water Grave with this one tapped so we can Serum Visions and leave up Cryptic. Terminate, don't need these Thought Scours. Our opponent's at 14. This is 6 and 6 and 6 with 2 Cryptics. I think I'm just going to attack with Tassiger one more time, and I think after that we're going to probably try to clock him multiple times with Snapcasters. Again, we can also bounce this Soldier of the Pantheon at a given moment where things get truly dicey. So they played another Cavern, and they conceded. Okay. Oh, I missed their crazy game. Alright, we finally won when we did it stream. We're great. That's it. We're 1 and 2. We're retiring. Yeah, Danny, I'm wearing that RAW hoodie right now still. Squirrel, I've been repping RAW for... God, I'm almost 25 now, so I think Pam gave me a shirt probably when I was like 11 or 12, like right before I left. So probably about 13 or 14 years. If you guys haven't met Pam, the owner of RAW, she's one of the nicest ladies in the world. Truly, truly fantastic individual. And she'll always go out of the way for anybody that supports her store. Anybody that, you know, is just a genuinely good person that she thinks can help out the community. Brendan, it's a local card store in Livonia, Michigan, which is just outside of Ann Arbor, which is a big college town. It's about an hour east of Lansing, 20 or so minutes outside of Detroit, maybe closer to 15. It ended up burning down, actually, about 2.5 years ago, and after dealing with all the insurance and all the nonsense of that, she rebuilt the whole store, re-got a whole new collection. She went to Grand Prix literally just to buy cards. Like, she would vend at Grand Prix just to buy cards. And she's back up and running again. She travels around to probably about 3 to 4 Grand Prix a year. And I don't know. In all, she's one of my best friends. She's a super, super nice lady. I'm sorry, Harrison. It's not my goal to steal all your viewers. I don't try to steal viewers. If all the viewers would watch like 7 streams at the same time, which is, to be honest, I just open up a bunch of streams a lot of the time. That I wish they would just do that so everybody can just have all the awesome viewers. It's just more of the talking community is what I would want more. So if that's stealing people from you, I'm terribly sorry, buddy. I don't aim to do that. Hey Cord, this is my first stream in actually 3 years. The last time I streamed, I was streaming Modern Storm, and the time before that I was doing Legacy Storm. So I don't really know how to set up to upload them to YouTube later, but I would really love to. It's something that if people like it and it would help them out, I'm absolutely down to do it. How's that Benzol sponsorship? Oh man, Tick, you're great, dude. Alright, well, somehow we've won 4 die rolls. Our opponent's a very jolly fella. He or she is awesome. Nick Brunch 13. Alright, our hand's great. We have Spell Snare, Lightning Bolt, Snapcaster. This is a hand that I wish we had had against our burn opponent. Yeah, Aber, I'm not claiming it's easy. I'm just saying that you can do it. Opponent mulligan to 6. They put their card on the bottom. Not great. I don't like when my opponent's mulligan. I'd rather just play against 7 hard cards every single time on Moto. Because my aim with Moto isn't to win. My aim is to just learn as much as I humanly possibly can. Awesome swing line. I'm glad to hear that. Oh my gosh. I hope we're playing against another Grixis player. That would just be just a dream come true. To the point where I play against 2 Grixis players in the queue. Alright, Cord for 4. I will look into getting that done just for you then. If that'll actually make you happy, that'll make me happy that people would get utility and use out of that. That would really, really make me happy. So yeah, I will look into that, certainly. Alright, it's questionable on whether or not I'm actually supposed to fetch there, because I just want to make land drops early on. But I didn't want to take as much damage as possible in case we're not playing against the mirror. Like, say we're playing against Grixis Delver, I'd rather try to preserve my life total slightly in the game ones. Alright, it looks like they're Grixis Delver because they have a Spire Bluff Canal. Oh, okay, so we're against the Kiln Fiend deck. Alright, so a lot of their creatures are 2 mana. Our bolts are pretty effective. It's more mana here to want to burn the Spell Snare because we also have a Snapcaster later. I think we do. I think we can find a better utility spot for the Bolt later. So let's go ahead and counter this. We really need to protect our Counter Squall, though. They don't usually have Blood Moon main deck, but I don't want to get it sort of cacked in another spot. The Lightning Bolts are a little bit less great here because of Thing in the Ice, which is another argument to possibly use it there, but I don't want to get caught with my pants down where I don't have a removal spell against something like a Monastery Swiftspear plus a... Sometimes they splash green, it's not frequent, but if our opponent happened to be splashing green mana to like become immense combo us. Alright, so here the next thing we're going to look to fire off as sort of our removal spell suite is using a Lightning Bolt to fire off to kill a Killing Fiend or Monastery Swiftspear. You're going to play this very similarly to Infect, which means that our opponent top-bottom, they played a fetch land. Okay, so they're not going to have 2 mana this turn. Which means that we're going to be casting a lot of our spells on the end step. If our opponent wants to go for it in combat, we're just going to let them. Like, we're not going to let them kill us, but we're going to let them spend a lot of their mana, spend a lot of their cards, and try to go for it. Like, that's how you get card advantage against decks like this. And the games tend to go fairly long in the way that we're configured in Game 1. Here I'm going to hold up Cryptic Command rather than playing Tar Pit. Mostly because I actually just want to cycle my expensive spell while my opponent doesn't have a threat in play that's going to kill me. Alright, yeah, we're gonna have to get whomever does MTG bot or whatever the bot is. We need to look into getting that and get out all of my silly, absurd things that I say, because I say a lot of really stupid stuff. Alright, Thing in the Ice, we're going to counter draw, like I said. We just want to use our most expensive counter here, get it out of our hands, cycle it. If our opponent has a Dispel or something in their main deck, a Spell Pierce, and they want to draw a card, A-okay by us. And we drew one of the best possible cards we could draw in the Tassiger. I certainly want to leave the Spell Snare in my yard. I don't think I need the Cryptic. It's more of a matter now of, do I want to just leave open 2 mana this turn? Again, they only have 1 haste creature, and I'm willing to block at any given moment, so I'm willing to run out Tassiger here. We're going to just leave Spell Snare. Again, Cryptic is 4 mana. We don't really need to be flashing back Cryptics in this matchup. It's also really difficult for them to deal with Tassiger in Game 1. Usually Tassiger is just a sign of the end of the game. Alright, so here we get another Kiln Fiend. We're going to look to fire off a Bolt on it on end step. And then hopefully they'll fire off something like a Mutagenic Growth, or... there's not really many other toughness pumps in that deck, maybe Apostle's Blessing. And then what this allows us to do on the next turn is to Snapcaster or Bolt and leave a Counter Squall, or just terminate it, which I'm going to start with the Terminate, but... the reason why I want to hold up the Terminate here is if they do have something like... Mutagenic Growth, I just want to get all their spells out of their hand. Like, they can't win the game without a ton of spells, so I'm willing to sort of trade my more efficient abilities where I could have spent 2 mana there, and then on my next turn spend 3 mana with Bolt and Terminate and leave up Counter Squall. I don't need to leave all those things up. Like, this is a matchup where you want to be mana efficient, but then there becomes a point where it's just, what is the most efficient way to drain all of your opponent's resources? I think that's a difficult thing for me to explain without having sort of spots like this where I can just show you guys on the fly. So hopefully I can get another spell to my opponent's hand here. They're going to Vapor Snag their own creature. So if they're willing to fight this hard for it, I think I'm fine with that, because I'm just going to Snapcaster Snare on the way down. They'll end up losing a point of life. They're going to fall to 11 off of combat. So we're not going to end up playing our Serum Visions here. Sorry, Serum Visions. Danny, I didn't hit gold for nothing, but there were certainly some tournaments where you could have looked at the decks I played and how I played them, and you would just be like, what in the heck? I played some matches very well last year. I was very happy, but there were a ton of matches where I was like, holy crap, I'm so dumb. Alright, there's a Swift Spear. There's just no way our opponent's attacking here. We're actually in such a great spot that I'm actually more likely to attack into my opponent with the Snapcaster Mage than they are to attack into me. So we're going to go in Serum Visions here, so we find other nonsense. We found a Lightning Bolt. That's probably going to draw it into the game. We don't really need the second Counter Squall at this point. It will take the Lightning Bolt. We're going to draw this Lightning Bolt into our hand. And after drawing the lightning bolt into our hand, we're actually going to attack with both first, I believe. Because I don't think I can think of a way where they're going to 17 me with a Swift Spear and 2 cards that they do have immunogenic growth. And I'm trying to think if there's any actual reason to make this attack. Because I can actually just put them to 7, leave up Tar Pit to kill them with. So this might just be really silly. Probably should have bolted first, now that I think about it. That was pretty dumb. Is there any actual world... Okay, so no, this attack's actually perfectly fine. We attack with the Tassiger, put them to 7, because we don't need the damage, because we have the 3 other damage from the Creeping Tar Pit on the next turn to finish our opponent off. So that puts them to 7. We'll go ahead and bolt it right now. So they have immunogenic growth again. They have to burn their spell on our turn. There's the mutagenic growth that I didn't want to attack with the Snapcaster Mage for. So now the question is, do we want to counter scroll this, at which point they would have to have a 3rd mutagenic growth. Which we do, again, because it's so difficult for them to deal lethal damage with just the 2 spells in their hand. This is also going to put them to 3, at which point they're just dead to the Creeping Tar Pit on the table. It also puts them to 1 if they have another mutagenic growth. So it's a little bit messy there, not enough sort of like logical thought process through it before actually casting our spells and moving to combat. But I think at the end of the day we actually did make the right play, which was get them to a point where they're dead to the Creeping Tar Pit on the table, because they cannot actually kill us in any meaningful fashion with just 2 spells in their hand. And they have to have immunogenic growth there to be in the game. Oh no, the MTGO ELO project's not working? That would make me really sad. I really want to hit number 1 in that, but Luis is just so far ahead. Alright, so in this matchup, again, it's going to play out very similarly to Infect, with one of the key things here is they bring in Blood Moon. Blood Moon is their best card in the matchup. They're very ineffective at killing us, but they are very, very, very effective at Blood Mooning us and then killing us with whatever silly card is left behind. So we certainly want this extra copy in Negate. We want the extra copies of Dispel, because when they're on the play, they do actually have a reasonable chance of killing us. It's very similar to Infect. They just play a Blighted Agent, they play 3 spells, you die. Well-wisher, I have no intentions of banning anybody that wants to put links in the chat, but please be respectful with your links. Like, if you're putting links to... I don't even want to explain it. I believe that the people that are able to find Twitch are intelligent enough human beings that they know what they should and should not link. So if you link something that's perfectly acceptable for the chat, you're not going to get timed out or banned or anything of that nature. And if for some reason somebody does, I will immediately undo it. If you shoot me a PM or hit me up on Facebook or Twitter, I will change that immediately for you. Hey Ben Whites, how's it goes? Danny, I have no idea. I wish they splashed Become Immense because I think it would make their deck more powerful. Alright, so we're bringing in our 2 Dispels and our Negate for sure. Cryptic Command's really slow in the matchup. However, it is good against Blood Moon. So we're fair about leaving that in. The Ancestrals are fairly weak. Spell Snare's fantastic. I think I'm going to go ahead and shave 1 Ancestral, 1 Cryptic. What do I usually sideboard on this matchup? This is silly. Why do I not just have all this written down or just memorized at this point? The E is good. Let's bring in the E. Alright, screw it. Let's just cut these Ancestrals and we'll leave the Cryptic. We'll leave 1 Ancestral. This boards us up to 3 hard counters for Blood Moon, 6 once you count the Cryptics. Alright, I think I like this a reasonable amount. The 2 E's help. We just need to either fetch basics aggressively or just immediately putting it on 3. Cryptic Command is good again. I mean, it was okay. So there's like 2 ways to look at that. Cryptic Command is good in the sense against Blood Moon where I can cast it, and I can either bounce their Blood Moon if I somehow find all 3 of my islands, or I can counter their spell. The bad sense is their spell costs 3 mana and mine costs 4. Alright, so we're both going to 6 this game. They're going to 5. We have a medium 6 that we're certainly keeping. We basically have a basic island, a basic mountain. Kolaghan's Command. Kolaghan's Command is certainly at top here. Our opponent bottomed their card. Swift Spear, okay. I'm going to lead on Polluted Delta here, because I want to leave up Spell Snare. On the second turn, we're going to Creeping Tar Pit. Third turn, we're going to play Mountain. So we just could absolutely not let a powerful 2-drop resolve here. I think we're just going to take too much damage. It is going to be super awkward if I have to fetch a basic island on instep, though. I guess I just don't have to fetch on instep, so we just won't. Drew a Scalding Tarn. That's actually really great, because now our Polluted Delta can fetch a basic swamp, we can fetch a basic island with that Scalding Tarn, and then our mountain can be, you know, a mountain for Kolaghan's command on 3. Makes our Creeping Tar Pit sort of a dangler, but I think I'm fine with that. This will also make our opponent pretty sad if they just had a, you know, they're very powerful, just turn 3 Blood Moon you hand. What did this person say? That is in fact not my IP address, but props to that person for thinking it is. Good try. Serum Visions, A-okay. We'll gladly take some damage, Mr. or Mrs. Opponent. Don't know the Thought Scar, so I can't mill over if they top here, but they did top. Okay. Probe me. Well, it seems unlikely they're just going to run something into me now, but such is life. Such is life. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm going to have to get better at pronouncing words. Uncovthe? Uncovthe is how I'm going to pronounce your name. You're going to have to correct me on how you truly pronounce your name at a later point in time. Getting bolted? Ugh. I don't know how to spell that. It seems so medium to spell that. So I'm certainly going to 14. I'll answer your Bedlam Reveler question in a second. Certainly going to 14, going to 12 off my fetches. This will put me to 9. And my current plan is I do want to just K-Command and make them discard a card. So I do think I want to preserve my life total ever so slightly. So I'm going to fetch an island and actually counter this. They can't cast another 2-mana spell, so I don't need to hold up Spell Snare anymore. Alright, this saves me some life, and I'm not really concerned about getting like Temur Battle Raged out of nowhere. Also, I'm planning to tap out on the next turn, so I'm not going to be able to hold up the spell forever. That I believe this is a correct play. Alright, so this is going to put us down to 13. We're going to go to 12. I'm trying to think if we want to... We do have to crack this Polluted Delta so we don't accidentally draw the basic swamp. So I don't want to fetch and take 1,000,000 damage. Could technically do this on upkeep, but it doesn't really matter. I can't imagine a way, like... Tassiger. It's a pretty good card to have. Alright, opponent, you discard. Possibly discard 2 cards if you have to Mutagen Growth to save your creature. Nope, they're looking at their hands. They're discarding. They discarded a Vapor Snag. That's an interesting card still in their deck. They play like Thing in the Ice now. It's like a little annoying, but it's fine. Alright, I'm sorry. I was answering your question on Cove. How do we record a look at chat? So, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get better at both reading the chat and playing the game, because I just had a problem with reading the game, and now I'm trying to read the chat. I have tried Bedlam Reveler Control when I was playing 6 Hand Disruption spells at the time. Sounds like the quote. Quothe. So Quothe? Okay. Hope it's that way. I have tried before with about 6 Hand Disruption spells. I didn't like how clunky the deck felt. It felt like too often that if your Hand Disruption cards were bad, your entire deck was bad. It's all similar to Jund in that vein, or if your discard was bad, your deck was bad. But it was moreover a problem for me personally, where at least with Jund, I had the backup plan of, well, if my burn is bad, at least... I'm sorry, if my discard is bad in Jund, at least I can still just like Tarmogoyf them and just like play very powerful green creatures. In that, I needed to still have all of the discard and just keep firing it off so I could turn them into just more cards with Bedlam Reveler. That's Gorlet. Thanks for hanging out. Swingline, I will work on it. It's not my primary goal of streaming. My primary goal of streaming here actually is to just hang out with people in chat. I really enjoy that the most from watching other streams. I've become a mod in some of their people's channels, and I really just talking with the people and trying to explain my insights that I have on some things. So I've spent a lot of time playing Magic over the last, 18 to 20 months, I guess, since I've started taking it a lot more seriously since I requalified for the Pro Tour. And I really just see people improve at Magic. Magic's really hard. And, I make tons and tons and tons of mistakes. And I know how it feels when you make a horrific mistake and you feel bad about it. And the times that I can eliminate those bad feelings and make more people proud of their accomplishments because they, reach that next step, I would love to see that. Alright, what the heck are we doing here? Our opponent's Serum Visions, they top-bottomed. I think I'm going to go ahead and Tassiger, exile my entire graveyard, and leap Spell Snare again instead of Lightning Bolt. If this ends up, biting me in the ass and they play a Blood Moon, I don't really care. I can't imagine a spot where I would need to leave a Bolt. I don't know what 3-mana creature they could play in blue-red. I guess you could play that Cyclops thing? Sure, I played her on Blood Moon. You got me. I've got a 4-5. What do you got, opponent? I guess to be fair, my opponent drew very poorly. So I guess I shouldn't be, this blatantly rude and just being like, yeah, I got you. I played her on Blood Moon. I'm so smart. My opponent only getting 5. They Serum Visions twice and used a Gataxi and Probe just to say a float. My opponent ran pretty poorly this game. Alright, another Serum Visions. Don't worry, Sanctuary, I see it. I did keep looking back at my computer. But, yeah, again, I do need to work on that. Alright, so here we can go for a Bolt Snap Bolt and then try to attack with both creatures. Again, I just don't really see a necessity to move here. My opponent just can't really kill my Tassiger. Note, I couldn't actually activate Tassiger there on end step because I didn't actually have access to 2 blue mana. I have 2 mountains over here with my dual lands that are actually mountains. So I have 3 red, 1 blue, 1 black. We did draw a second Bolt, however. Again, we don't need to make a move. There's just no reason to do anything. But at any given point, if my opponent taps all of their mana, I can go Bolt, Bolt, Snap, Bolt. This kind of feels like a slow roll, but there's literally no incentive for me to do anything. Even though my opponent had red up there, there's no reason to give them a chance. The current way that I'm playing the game, they cannot possibly win. I'm so far ahead that I'd rather just not give my opponent the opportunity to possibly have something. Alright, so here they play double Kill 'em Fiend. We countered the first one. We're going to bolt the second one here on end step. Then we're going to attack them, and then since they're tapped out now, we will bolt them and then snap bolt them. And that, in fact, should end the match. And we'll be right on our way to trying to break even. Favorite deck to see Blood Moon is definitely Jund. Alright, I'm sorry. Let me try to catch up with what El Jefe Cubano said. Follower only mode is on. Is that on purpose? Jefe, I think you have to have enough of a follower setting to get a subscriber button or a donation button. Again, it's not one of my primary focuses with the stream. I obviously will set all those up when it gets to that point. I would love to be doing what Shion's doing on a daily basis. I think it's freaking fantastic, and Paul's one of my favorite people. I love watching a stream. I turn it on all the time when I'm at work and just listen to it. But, no, I don't have any of those set up now. When I get the opportunity to, I absolutely will, though. Alright, I missed your first meta. If not looking at chat means such good analysis, I'll play okay with the lack of chat room. That's me. Corrosive Ultimatums, I love your name, first off. Second of all, I didn't take it as a shot. You're perfectly fine. I don't think that I'm going to read many things into the chat as, just firing off at the person streaming. I'm not that kind of individual. I'm very self-conscious in the sense that if people do say bad things about me, it's going to bother me and I'm going to try to correct them. But if you say something ambiguous, I'm not going to be like, oh, they all hate me, this sucks, I hate my life, and be really sad. But yeah, there needs to be a better balance of me reading the chat, looking at the game, playing the game, reading the chat, interacting with the chat. Again, it's something I'm going to really need to work on, and there was a point there where all I did was read the chat, and then there was a point all I did was read the game and talk about the game. I need to learn how to balance it out better, and hopefully during that it'll make me a better Magic player, and hopefully it'll improve a bunch of you guys. Ben, I don't know what Name of the Wind is, and I don't read enough books, but hopefully you will let me borrow it at some point. Oh no, why did we time out Mantic? He was just joking. Alright, well, whatever, Oh, okay, you unbanned him. you probably banned him because all you saw was the first message ever, or whomever banned him. Oh god, it's too funny. Yeah, and Mantic actually worked on the game with us. Mantic was great. He was one of the QA guys that actually gave me the most amount of headaches because he would find all of the really, really corner case tricky bugs. And I'm the rules manager, so I would have to deal with a lot of those things. And it was really tough, some of the things he came up with. Or a lot of them wasn't just things that I'd have to deal with. I'd have to go to the team and be like, so it's interacting this way, I anticipate it working this way, do we believe that's more intuitive and we should adjust the rules? Like, there were a bunch of interesting spots that come up like that. Yeah, the Blood Moon fixed us so we could triple bolt while Wisher, that was great. Cook Chestnuts, I'm a game designer by day. I work at Hex Entertainment. I'm the rules manager on the game and developer also. I do a lot less development work than I do rulesy stuff. It's really fun. If you want to try it out, I highly recommend it. It's something that even us, we're still learning on all the time. If you ever played the World of Warcraft trading card game, it's sort of a hybrid between Magic and World of Warcraft, where the sort of base engine level systems work similarly to Magic in terms of there are different shards and they do different things via their design space. But the sort of core concept in how you gain colors or gain in that game thresholds is much different. Like in Magic, if you have one island, it's very difficult for you to cast your blue spells. Whereas in Hex, like you can only cast one per turn. In Hex, you can play all of your Sapphire cards that require one Sapphire threshold. So you sort of like dig yourself out of the grave much more quickly. Looking at this hand, we have a Spell Snare, Lightning Bolt, some interaction, and potentially a turn 2 Tassiger. This is one of the quickest snap keeps you can get in this deck. Our opponent played a Force, so I'm going to assume this is Infect. No, this is Ancient Stirring. So this is either Tron or Bant Eldrazi. Bant Eldrazi, our hand's really bad because the Spell Snare doesn't do anything. And this is the matchup you really want to terminate. Okay, so it's Tron. They had Chromatic Star. Just pull this revealed zone out for you guys. I'm sorry. Alright, so we're going to try to play a little bit fast for this match. I'm going to leave out Spell Snare this turn. And more importantly, leaving out the Spell Snare, it leaves out Thought Scour. Where if I don't... Oh my goodness, they kept a one-lander? Holy crap, they kept 7 cards, though. Oh, they kept a one-lander, Ancient Stirrings, and Bricked. Holy cannolis, that's crazy. Alright, so we're going to get a turn 2 Tassiger down, and we're going to try to ride that to victory. It's really hard to win game 1 against Tron. Okay. Druid Ancestor, we're not going to get to Suspended if we want to play as Tasker this turn, and with our opponent Mana Screw, this is a really important spot. It's pretty much a fundamental limited lesson that you learn, that if your opponent's Mana Screwed, you just want to end the game as quickly as possible. Modern doesn't function on the same axis as you will learn that in Limited, just because the cards are way more powerful in Modern. But if your opponent's Mana Screwed, just get them dead as quickly as possible. Try to not let them play the game. Searsist, if you have favorite stuffed animals that you want to post up, like Eeyore, absolutely. Eeyore is great. I've got to figure out how to get a camera working here. Oh gosh, I hope we draw a land we get to shatter that. Oh, Tassiger, come on, buddy. You're killing me. Killing me. Killing me. Alright, so this is a decision point where we either have to figure out if we want to leave up Spell Snare or Serum Visions. So if they had a Sylvan Scrying, they should have played Sylvan Scrying last turn off of the Star, because on the following turn they would just be able to play Map and crack it. They would never have put themselves into a spot where they could have been Kolaghan's commanded. It's possible they don't know the matchup, but I think I want to steer Visions here. I think it's just such high upside if I hit a land. Didn't, but I did find a land, so we're going to keep this land on top. Definitely don't need a third Tassiger. Fortunately now can't cast a spell this turn. That's just too bad. Chord for 4, that deck was a blast. Night, Nate. It's great having you around. I absolutely would love to do it more. I really hope we get to do it some more, because it's really fun. Alright, so they played a map, cracked a map, played a relic. Okay, I'm not really concerned about Relic. Yeah, you can exile them. You can exile that. I don't think I want to kill their Relic. Don't want to kill their Relic? It seems so bad. Seems like a different level of bad. Okay, so I can put them to 12. Bolt puts them to 7. K-Command... I'm sorry. Tasker puts them to 12. Bolt puts them to 9. K-Command puts them to 7. So they're really 2 combat steps away from dying. I have an ability with which to deal with a problematic Worm Coil engine where I can just fight through it. They don't have Tron, though. They certainly cannot have Tron unless they just naturally drew their Tron piece this past turn. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to fetch up a Water Grave and immediately tap it to Serum Visions again. So again, I don't think I need the Ancestral right now. I just sort of need to find my key cards for the matchup. So at this point, Bolt is usually just a horrendous card in this matchup, but I'd actually keep a Bolt. Okay, so there's another land and there's another Kolaghan's Command. That's also a Snapcaster Mage. So Snapcaster Mage also represents some more damage. I don't think I need the second Kolaghan's Command. That did go on the bottom. That Delta stays on top. Alright, Tasker's got him down to 12. Little Tasker it could. Okay, they drew a Tron piece. That's not great for us. Seriously, I love hearing that. El Jefe, give me a minute to think about that. That's an O-Stone, that's not good. There's certainly some things that Jund players could be doing. I think that, like, if they had a Thrun the last Troll in their main deck, that would help a lot. This stupid O-Stone is going to drive me up the wall. I think I want to Bolt now. Let's put them in a 9. They're going to have to kill the Tassiger. It gets me another card in my graveyard. That I can play the Tassiger out, yeah. So, like, I think if Thrun the last Troll would go a long way. I think you also just need another permanent that, like, cannot be countered, that also just does a large amount. Like, I don't think you need a non-creature spell. A non-creature spell I'm just going to negate or counter Squall. So something like Arachnos' Return, which is really powerful, is just not the kind of thing that you're looking for. Something more creature-based. Thragtusk is okay, but I don't think that's, like, your way to win. Like, Abzan is a big edge where Abzan gets benefit out of Lingering Souls, and Lingering Souls is really hard for the deck in game 1, and game 2 I really have to lean on, is it Staticaster really hard? Warping Whale. Making a 1-1. Okay, so they're making a 1-1. I can Kolaghan's Command, shock it, and shatter the O-Stone. That puts them to 5. I could also just snare this. I think I want to snare this. Right? Yeah, I just want to snare this. So this would have been a reason to play my land pre-combat. I should just get in the habit of doing that more often. I've been playing too much limited where it's just correct to hold on to your lands pretty frequently. I just didn't think about playing it. Yeah, I got punished for it. That was really bad. So now if I want to, I have to terminate this to get damage in, at which point I can't kill the O-Stone, but that I do have access to 5 damage. I think I'm going to do that. I don't like it, but they should sack their Relic after this terminate resolves. Are they going to cast a 3rd Warping Whale? Their game is all Warping Whales. This is a really absurd game. I mean, I guess on 8 mana they did just play an O-Stone. Like, they didn't play a Karn or play an Ugin. Okay, you should crack your Relic here. Didn't crack their Relic. Okay, I mean, I guess they're going to get my fetch land for free, so it works out for them, but... Fair enough, fair enough. They played better than I proposed they did. Alright, this, I still need to get a blue source, so I have Cryptic up. So we're going to fall to 12 here, get ourselves the other Water Grave, suspend the Visions. I don't think it's super likely this game goes 4 more turns, but it is certainly possible, enough to the point where I do want it on suspend. Yeah, so I think Thrun is one of the best things I can think of in Jund. Grim Flayer is another good option. I think anything with 1 toughness is not where you want to be. I do board out Bolts in the matchup, but that's mostly because I think Dark Confidant is such a terrible card in the matchup that people playing Tron should be boarding out. Oh, am I getting Ulamogged? Good God. Bleh, vomit. Okay, well that sucks. Alright, how in the world do we beat that? Does this exile or destroy? Oh, it destroys too. That's wonderful. Man, they drew 2 towers in a row? Come on. That sucked. This is bad. Alright, how do we win this game? I think we win this game by playing Serum Visions. Playing Serum Visions, getting to chump block. Playing Serum Visions, getting to chump block. But then it's very likely I don't get to block or not get to attack with Snapcaster, because then they sack the Oast, don't get to kill the Tassiger, so I have to fetch and flash in the Snapcaster. Alright, I think this is going to get dicey, but I think we're going to have to draw a red source and a bolt and have our opponent mess up. Okay, well, the first 2 things came true. We drew a red source and bolt. Now we need our opponent to mess up. Unfortunately, it's a fetch land, so we also have to fetch ourselves off of it. Okay. Do I have Steam Vents left in my deck? I do. Yeah, that is the game that you see Jeff Fuglin play pretty frequently on stream. We could have Visions first. The reason why I didn't want to was that I really needed to get my opponent dead and try to play a very similar Delver like tempo game. Alright, I need to play a lot faster. We need to play that land. We need to hope our opponent screws up here and doesn't sack the Oast Stone. Uh-oh. Don't do it. Alright, good opponent. You can cast Ancient Stirrings. Swinkline, you're just crazy. I don't mean that in a bad way. Oh yeah, it was bad. They bricked on a land, then they fetched up a mine, they immediately played a tower, then immediately played another tower, and they played standard all-star Ulamog and ate a bunch of our friends. We don't know if they're green-white or green-red just yet. Warping Whale makes me believe that they're just mono-green, to be honest. I don't usually see 2 Warping Whales main deck, but then again, I haven't played Modern in about a month and a half. So I think the Dark Confidant, like, resolved and not combated is a way to victory. I just don't think that happens frequently enough. I think that, like, getting a 4-4 Grimflayer down is much more likely. Oh, Aber, this game doesn't look winnable? Watch. Here we go. I hope you get to witness greatness in this game, where our opponent attacks us here, doesn't sack their Oast Stone, and we just get to get them. But it looks like they're having 5 mana, so it looks like we're gonna get got. Rough beats, rough beats. Alright, well, this sucks. Little Tassiger at Could dies. We're gonna have to fall to 8 getting in our other Steam Vents. We're gonna have to chump block with our Snapcaster Mage. We're then gonna need to play Tassiger and draw a Bolt, because we're going to have to fetch away the Bolt on top of our library. And then we're going to have to draw the Bolt that I was talking about this coming turn, get to block our Tassiger, bolt them to 2 so we can call Gon's Commando to death. Alright, so they exiled all of our Lightning Bolts. Okay. Not a good start. Not a great start. Could have asked for better starts. Yeah. Okay. New plan. Our opponent's casting a Karn. Alright, good games. Good game, opponent. You win. You have successfully Tron to find us. Alright, well that was unfortunate. Man, I really thought we were going to win that game when they bricked on turn 1. I was right they didn't have Sylvan Scrying, so it was correct to not leave up the Spell Snare. think I screwed up the turn where they played the second Warping Whale. I should have played my land pre-combat. Should have shattered the O-Stone. I don't think I would have ended up winning the game, because I think it would have killed my red source and my Tassiger, and I would have been short anyways, but still don't like playing poorly, so there's that. Alright, so hopefully this negate does some work for us. The Fulminator mages are good here. Surgical surprisingly is good here. And that is mostly based on the fact of we have way too many horrendous cards. I don't like the Terminates in this matchup. I've learned that they are just worse than the Lightning Bolts. Lightning Bolt usually deals with Thragtusk, which they bring in, and is just a cheaper way to interact with the fragmented pieces of a Wormcoil engine. Because pretty frequently in this matchup, calling this command is a Shatter plus whichever other mode you need. Opponent's Warping Whale, it counters sorceries. Do I have any other sorceries that are ancestral? Doesn't look like it. Alright, so we're going to board out 3 bolts, 3 terminates, and EE for a negate, 3 fulminators, and 3 surgicals. Our role in this matchup now is they're a combo deck. We do not have Crumble to Dust, J-Dub. I wish we had Crumble to Dust. The problem with Crumble to Dust is it's 4 mana, so usually it's just too slow. Like, they get 3 lands in play, and they just Karn you, and they kill one of your lands. Swing line, you might be right. I might just be a crazy person and need to set that up. Maybe he won't attack. I love your... So, Ancestral... So, okay. I say Crumble to Dust is a bad 4-mana card. The reason why Ancestral is good is that your plan in this matchup is just to disrupt them long enough that you can draw more cards to the Ancestral and completely fragment them. Like, I'm willing to Thought Scour them and try to Kolaghan's Command, make them discard, hoping they discard a Tron piece, just so I can Surgical all the pieces. Like, I aggressively Fulminator Mage and Surgical, I'm going to win that game almost regardless of what else happens. So this has a Fulminator lands. This is a great hand. Unfortunately, no Ancestral, no Clock, no Surgical just yet, but this is the kind of hand that we're looking for. Again, our life total is not relevant in this matchup. Yeah, Corrosive Ultimatum, Shadow of Doubt. I used to play one of those main deck for a while. That card was really good in this matchup. Yeah, as I was saying, this hand's really great. We don't need to protect our life total, so we're going to fetch down to 17, get a Water Grave, then Serum Visions, and then likely fetch down to 14 at the Steam Vents. We keep 1 card on top. We put 2 cards on top, then we'll just play the Island so we have Counter Squall up. I think I messed up when I didn't Serum Visions before Tassiger. Did I have Serum Visions in my hand at that point? I thought I just had a Bolt. If I did have a Serum Visions, Sajim, you're 100% correct. We should absolutely Serum Visions there to gain extra information. What the hell? El Jefe, I think so, but it might just not be good enough in other matchups. I don't understand what the hell just happened. This is the one they get to begin with play with, and it taps for a color of any mana, right? Okay. Why did they bring in Leyline? I guess that stops me from discarding their hand? J-Dub, if I draw a Ancestral at the Serum Visions, sure, I won't be stoked, but I'll just shrug, it's fine. Wait, they have to exile a card from their hand too? What in the world is going on? Alright, I don't know what my Tron opponent's doing. I hope they beat me, and I hope I learn something great from this, but I do not advise the strategy that they're employing. Alright, we're going to put this Delta on bottom. I'm trying to figure out if I want this Ancestral Visions. I've got a Fulminator slow him down for a turn. I've got a Spell Snare to leave up on the next turn. I mean, I could have left some Spell Snare that turn, but I just don't think it's correct to leave out Spell Snare on that turn. I could be wrong. I don't know, I'd have to think about it more. Alright, J-Dub, this is for you. Just to spite you. I think I'm going to leave this Ancestral on top. I think I want to. I can't imagine how many more resources my opponent actually has this game. Like, I have 2 counters for filtering effects. I think if I pull them off of 1 Tron piece, I think the Ancestral can do work. Yeah, I'm putting us on top. JW, you're great. Yeah, Jason, I didn't think about it at the time. I think it could have been correct to leave up Snare, but I do think that I also just need to like filter out my draw and actually find something to do. Alright, so they're playing a Relic, that's fine. Sure, I don't need a Scalding Turn. Alright, so now we need to figure out if we want to leave up. They have one Tron piece. Figure out if we want to leave up Counter Squall here for another potential Stirrings. I don't think I do. I think I'd rather just play a Scalding Turn. Spend this Visions. Look to hold up Counter Squall on the turn where they have 3 mana. Try to counter their first threat. Sure, if it's a Wormcoil one, you just shrug and it's okay, whatever. Don't really care. Aha, we're gonna get him. We're gonna get him. Oh, come on, tap your 2 mana. You know you want to. Yeah. Yeah, got him. Alright, let's get a second Watery Grave going, right? Yeah. Fall to 14. Counter target spell. Fortunately, don't get to draw 2 Ancestral Visions there. Oh, they have 2 mines now? That's unfortunate for their Stirrings then. They immediately cracked Relic. Oh, they don't want me to... Okay, that's smart, that's smart. Drew another Snare. I do want to start clocking them. I don't think they can ever have any removal in their deck that actually deals with Fulminator Mage. And that gives me a spot to leave up the rest of this nonsense for turns and turns and turns. So I think... Oops, tapped blue there. The goal here is just to spend my mana, because I already have 2 reactive cards. Sure, I don't have anything I want to kill this Fulminator Mage yet, because I don't want to kill a Mind, because I just can't actually, surgical anything. That's Tom Ross's sideboard tech? Was this from the Players' Championship? Because I didn't look at sideboards and all that. I mean, it certainly should have, but it's something I need to keep up with more often. Even when I'm not playing these formats, 24/7. I only play Modern before it's relevant for events, despite how much I love the format. It's so much fun. Another Relic. You've got it, friend. Basic Forest, deal. They're just going to do the hard cast my fatties. I would be annoyed. Ooh. Okie dokie. Well, now we just need to find a Tron piece to kill, and we have to get this Relic off the table too, but... I mean, I assume my opponent's going to start cracking these Relics to draw cards, to be fair. Like, they cracked the last one to draw cards, likely because they had second in their hand, but their hand was pretty poor. You are correct. Warfare does say counter target Ancestral Visions, but over that sideboard, you need to be careful. I can guarantee I have no idea what's happening in this game. Ravnik, I don't know. I don't know a lot of things that are going on in my opponent's deck. Like I said, I wouldn't advise that if you're gonna, play Tron to leave in Leyline in this matchup, but maybe they thought I had Thoughtseize or something. It's very possible people have no idea what my list is, and that's cool. Like, I don't fault anybody for putting Leylines in. Like, I could easily have 8 discard spells in my deck. Why do I want to counter this so badly? Why do I want to counter that so badly? Part of me really wants to counter this. It feels incorrect, though. I'm still gonna do it, just because I can't actually surgical their land right now, the Relic in play. So I just want to hold them off as long as possible. But something tells me that they just have lands in their hand that they're just gonna play their lands. And I'm just gonna lose to them eventually in 3 turns just playing out something and beating me. No, that was an insane draw. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and attack our opponent here. Alright, that was like literally the stupidest draw that could have come off top of my deck. I mean, I'll take it, but my opponent didn't deserve it. It shuffles my cards at random. I've heard of more ridiculous things, put it that way. Alright, so in upkeep here, it's going to blow up their tower. So I don't want them accidentally getting Tron here. Okay. You've got my fulminator. Alright, seems my opponent knows that I could have surgical. Thankfully we got this Ancestral coming off suspend next turn. We have a Spellsnare to protect it from J-Dub's pretty great Warping Whale fancy over there. If they unban Baleful Strix. Well, Baleful Strix isn't actually banned, it's actually just not legal in the format. It's not a card that they've printed ever in a modern product. I believe it was just printed in the Commander decks, if I recall correctly, but I'm not, like, super certain on which set it was in. Alright, Ancestral. Let's try to find some gasoline here. This qualifies a decent amount. Probably didn't need to play that land there, but it's fine. Kolaghan's Command, yay! We can't make them discard, we can certainly blow up this stupid Relic Progenitus so I can surgical their stuff. So I am going to have to burn this Fulminator Mage on the turn. Ooh, man, even got punished. That is delightful. I'm really glad I drew a Creeping Tar Pit to punish me. That is why you don't play your lands before you play your draw spells. Like, unless there's a reason where you need it to, and I just absolutely don't need to. It's not like my opponent's going to counter my Serum Visions. Also, if they countered my Serum Visions, they'd be just jumping up and down. Like, literally ecstatic. Would not be able to contain my happiness. Aber, I don't actually know. I know I own Astral Slides. I think it was like one of the first Magic cards I ever bought. The very first Magic card I ever bought was an Exploration. I played Yu-Gi-Oh! At the time, and it was an REW at one point, and I saw the card was like, I think it was $11 when it was sitting there in the case, and I was like, this card looks broken. Like, that was literally just the thought process of like 10 or 11-year-old Corey. Just sitting there, he's like, this card looks sweet. And I just bought it. It's still sitting there in a hard case sleeve that Pam gave it to me in, because she was just like, I have no idea why you're buying this, but if you really want it, I'll let you buy it. Obviously, she wasn't going to stop me, but she did ask me why I was buying it. She knew I didn't play Magic. Seriously, is it because I just ramble for hours, or do I actually just phrase things in a way where it's educational enough for people to just listen to my babbling? Oh god, Ocean Thief would be a delight. Alright, blow up the silly power plant so we don't get got by that. Hopefully our opponent plays a spell here. Oh, Ghost Quarter. Just really want to flash in the Snapcaster Mage. Relic, you can have my Ancestral. Okay. So, let's see here. Our opponent's already on 5 lands. Can't make them discard. And it's very likely if we just go for the... it's because you also ramble, that's great. I think it's because of... Or if we go for the, like, hit command shatter buyback play, they're very likely to sack their Relic. And at that point, I can surgical one of the Tron pieces in response, but they're already on 5 mana. But how bad is that actually for me? I don't think it's that bad. I certainly don't want to let them untap their Relic, because then we can get ourselves into weird dicey spots. And it's not like I need to leave up mana here, so... Return target creature, destroy target artifact. Get back our Fulminator, shatter your Relic. This should prompt them to sack it, at which point we will extract their tower. Paying life, of course. Tower, get out of here. I would love to pay 2 life. Alright, so we're going to then print screen their deck to save time here, but I will read over the functional points here with the snipping tool once we have access to it. First thing you always want to do when you do this is click the silly one in the graveyard. I've seen people mess that up before. Alright, they have a Karn in their hand. So as expected, they did have a fatty. Let's see, they have Horizon Canopy, they have 3 Ley Lines, 2 Ulamogs, 2 Ugins, 2 Worm Coils, 2 Warping Whales. That snipping tool did not work at all. What the heck is going on, snipping tool? You silly thing. Alright, and 1 World Breaker. Alright, fair enough. That's all that. You can have another card, buddy. That's going to exile that. It's fine. And let's play our Tar Pit. Ship back to our opponent. Doesn't take them off of mana, but I'm not really concerned with that. You can have a Sphere. I'm just holding on this Counter Scroll now just to counter the Karn in their hand. Oh, you don't say. Alright, let's get this Creeping Tar Pit in there. It's going to get killed. That's perfectly fine. It strip mines my opponent, which is the big thing here. Also, if they do that, I'll just play a Fulminator Mage. But Ancient Stirrings. If I counter this, they go to 7. Nah, it's fine. It's kind of dicey if they don't one of their Worm Coil engines, but not the worst thing in the world. Kill the Tron. They have nothing. A map. Who needs a map? What if they found the map? Okay, so we could counter this map, put them to 7. On our turn, deploy a Fulminator. I think I'm going to do that. I don't think my opponent has a Relic. I think they would have played Relic first. Again, this could get us into dicey spots where I'm just being an idiot and just countering spells at pseudo-random, it looks like. Yeah, I didn't think so. Did not seem like the way they had played that turn that they had that. Tapping my Creeping Tar Pit here, mostly because I want to leave up Snapcaster Mage because I have 4 lands now, and because if my opponent wants to Ghost Quarter anything, they're always going to Ghost Quarter my Creeping Tar Pit, so it just gets me another untapped land. Alright, so here we're going to go ahead and fetch. Get the Blood Crypt, no. Man the Pits. Play our turn. Attack with our weird elementals. Sure, why not? I could have floated mana there, but I don't want to K-command because I can't do damage to my opponent. Or make them discard. So I just don't really have an incentive yet. Like, if I really want to Fulminator to make them lose a land, because I know they don't have Thragtusk in their list, I can just do it here in the end step, where I, like, Fulminator, blow up a land, buy back, make myself discard my Spell Snare or something weird. But I just don't have a need to do that, I don't think. Like here, I can just put them to 3 by attacking. And just hold up Counter Squall again. Alright, so that's another Creeping Tar Pit. So what this is going to allow us to do is we're going to attack here with Fulminator and blow up their power plant. So now they can't even Worm Coil us. Obviously it's fine if they Worm Coiled, but this also just, I think, gets rid of every single one of their options. Creeping Tar Pit should just kill them unless they drew another Ghost Quarter. Again, no incentive to move on Snappy, so we won't. Animate this. If something goes wrong, we'll Thought Scour, but this also leaves up Snapcaster, Snare, and Counter Squall, and that will take us to game number 3. See the Ancestral there? J-Dub was great. Wait, there's second Gemstone Cavern? I did not look hard enough at this. We should look at this more. Yeah, 2 Gemstone Caverns, 4 stars, 4 spheres, 4 maps, 4 stirrings, 4 scryings, 1 Sanctum of Ugin, 2 O-Stone. 2 O-Stone and 3 Leyline of Sanctity seems like really sketchy. 4 Karns, 2 Ugins, 2 Worm Coils, 2 Warping Whales, 12 Tron lands, a World Breaker, 2 Ulamog. Thanks, Crost. We will try to be. We're going to draw Ancestral and cry. Well, I mean, we weren't stoked. You were definitely wrong on that. We were not stoked that that was the turn we had to draw Ancestral, but we did certainly take it. They had 3 Warping Whales. I knew they exiled one at the beginning of the game. Was there a second one in the deck there that I missed? I just see the one in the deck and the one they exiled at the Gemstone. Maybe there's one in the graveyard I missed, but I didn't think so. So let's see. If that's the list they're presenting in a post-board game, do we want to terminate? Obviously, can't kill Ulamog. If Ulamog comes into play, we're just going to lose. So we won't ever worry about that. We could theoretically want another answer to say a War Breaker or Worm Coil Engine. I think I prefer Bolt to try to kill our opponent. Again, our main plan, course of action is, try to mill over a piece or Fulminator a piece and Surgical. It was a little difficult that game because I believe they drew all 3 of the Relic of Progenitus because I don't see another one in the deck. Oh, no. Yeah, I was trying to add up all the numbers based on the ones we saw. Yeah, J-Dub, Terminate is... You think Terminate's worse than E? Interesting. Hold on, let me think about that. So what are you trying to EE that you could just terminate? Like the tokens from Engine, the Warping Whale tokens. In theory, you could catch some of their pants down and get like their... I believe the Star is the one that draws no matter what, and the Sphere only draws on activation, so you could get their Spheres and maybe Relics if they have no mana? Tenob, so my base strategy on the play, I think, is very solid, where, yeah, you're trying to Fulminator Mage them, counter their big things, and then try and Surgical one of their pieces. However, in the draw, it's a lot less effective, and we're going to need to lean heavily on this 1 negate and these 2 counter squalls. Basically, we're going to need to counter their first threat, which is hopefully a Karn, and then we can Fulminator a Tron piece and Surgical it. Oh, what's up, Nathan? I've seen a lot of your pictures lately on Facebook. Really like them. You and your your family look super happy. I'm super stoked for you guys. Yeah, J-Dub, it could be. I've thought about boarding down on one before. The problem is just none of their cards in the sideboard are any good. Singleton Fishy. Oh, the Gurmag Angler. The problem I had with Gurmag Angler, it just like didn't play into the rest of your plan, and it was really difficult to cast on turn 2. Like, yeah, it's a sweet 5/5, and a 5/5 is going to kill him really fast, but I'm not really in the mood to just kill my opponent. Like, sure, I'd love to kill my Tron opponent in this matchup, but I think the Fishy is like pretty much a liability against anybody like Abzan, Jund, other Grixis stacks. It turns on cards that should be dead against you because you can't gain card advantage. Like Tasigure frequently in those matchups, just wait till I have 5 mana to cast. Like I can just play it and then activate it when it gets killed by a Liliana or a Terminate or a Maelstrom Pulse or whatever silly card that they end up having, a Path to Exile. Like in the fair matchups, because you can expect the game to go that long, that's why I'm a big fan of Tassiger and why I like the third one over, say, like, a split of 2 and 1 Fishy. The Legendary Claws, yeah, I mean, it's come up multiple times already tonight where we've sat there looking at one in play and one in our hand just going, well, hopefully this one dies, I guess. Yeah, Ayavugan was really rough. Like, you would sort of be controlling the game and actually getting back into the games where you didn't have to, like, Surgical their Tron piece. And then they would just play that and you would just lose because they'd have an endless stream of just horrifically giant monsters that you could never deal with. J-Dub, so I think there's value in the density of the number of times you get to Tassiger on turn 2. Like, it's much easier to Tassiger on turn 2 than it's to Tassiger on... Or, I'm sorry, to Gurmag Angler on turn 2. I don't think it's like a crazy significant margin, but I think it's enough to the point where I would highly advocate for... Oh, crap. I would highly advocate for the third Tasker over the Fish. The Legendary thing does help the Fish argument, but I think the sort of like warping ability that Tasker can have on the game is just like slightly higher than that of the Fish. God, I hope I don't say your name wrong. I know I said it wrong earlier, and you said it was like similar to Quote. On Kothe, it's yeah, I played a PN Kieran when I top 8 at Pittsburgh, and the card was really great, but I just don't find it necessary in this build of the deck. So I kept this hand. I'm not super stoked about it. I'm not confident this is a keep. It had Serum Visions, 2 lands, and a Fulminator Mage. I think the hand's good enough to keep, but I do really, really, really need to find a Counter Squall or a Negate. Cryptic. So if our Fulminator is good, this Cryptic's going to be fantastic. But if our Fulminator is not good enough, we're going to get run over. This is tough. Basically, we just need to have a read of, does our opponent have turn 3 Tron? If they have turn 3 Tron, we need to bottom and just hope to peel. But if they don't have turn 3 Tron, I mean, our Fulminator Mage into Cryptic, bounce your land, draw a card, into Kolaghan's Command, buy back my Fulminator Mage, shock myself, Fulminator you, snap, counterbalance, snap Kolaghan's Command, get back Fulminator, that's going to win the game. Later, Galsheim. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, thank goodness our opponent still has all these ley lines. I don't understand it. Alright, I'm gonna bottom. I don't know if my opponent has turn 3 Tron. I don't really have sort of a feeling that my opponent has turn 3 Tron. But I think that I can find another Cryptic fighting another Cryptic. I'm also just going to probably end up fetching with a Polluted Delta or a Scalding Tarn on the next turn, or turn after. I'd rather just give myself the best shot to find a Counter Squall. Okay, if they're going to end up stirring here, that'd be really great for us if they don't find a Tron piece. No Tron piece, don't do it. Here it is, brick. We're going to have to make a brick emote. I get into these spots a lot where playing our opponent doesn't draw a good card. Hopefully one of the Magic streamers has a sweet brick emote. What is... This just has for colors now, right? Okay, good. Alright, no Tron piece there. That was great for us. Ooh. Senior Tassiger. Alright, well that goes off on the next turn. So the next turn we'll fetch here, Fulminator, fetch, and then the turn after we can K-Command, buy back the Fulminator Mage, and then sack the Graveyard of Tassiger. Only if it's a tower? Oh, goodness. Yeah, if it was a tower, they would be so happy. Literally jumping up and down for joy. I might just flash in a Snapcaster Mage here, actually, now I think about it. Like, if my opponent doesn't play a land, I'm flashing in a Snapcaster, and I'm just going to go to town. I mean, how many lands did they have? They had one Gemstone in play. Oh, I didn't take a picture of their graveyard. I did a really piss poor job of the snipping tool. Okay, we'll work on our snipping tool game also. But I know that they had 2 lands in exile, 5 in play. So there was 7, 11, 16... I believe they may have only had 18 lands in their deck. Okay, another Ancient Stirrings. This makes me even more likely to flash in a Snapcaster. Goodness, I hope they just put a star on off this. Yeah, they usually have, I think, 20 lands is usually the norm. Yeah, Nathan, I think it's a big thing that I still need to work on more, is just my game in more matchups, where I do believe this is a matchup where I think I'm going to have a higher win percentage, especially given that my K-Command discard effect is turned off by this ley line. I think my win percentage is going to go up by putting a 2-1 onto the battlefield. Man, that's enticing. Okay, this is going to resolve. We're going to flash in a Snapcaster Mage, and we're going to shatter the hell out of that thing. I think this wants to get a mountain. Yeah, let's get some mountain. Yeah, whatever, I don't need Serum Visions. Ancestral, I love you, but it's not your time. Alright, so we're gonna probably fetch again here. What do we want? We want Steam Vents. No, we don't need double red anymore because it's just all turned off. We just want to get out of their Water Grave. We're gonna shock ourselves. We're gonna go down to 11 because we have to shock ourselves and get shatter a silly artifact. Water Grave. Destroy target artifact. Okay, artifact. Shock me. Get out of here. Alright, race is on. So next turn we get to Tassiger plus Fulminator Mage. Am I going to scrying for a piece? If they scrying for a piece here, I'm just going to kill whatever piece they scry for. I think it's like fairly obvious to everybody, but I see people not do that pretty often. I don't know why they do the things they do, but... Alright, Bolt, you're not what we wanted to draw. Bad, Bolt, bad. This jerk out here. Blow this thing up now. Alright, Tassagoyf, what are we exiling with you, buddy? I think everything... 6. Can't Kolaghan's command anything. Alright, we're going to leave the Kolaghan's command as a shatter effect in case I draw an O-Stone and a land this turn. There's an O-Stone. Certainly played around that one. Alright, I don't think we need to suspend these Ancestral Visions. I think I'm going to leave up the ability to Tassiger and mill some cards over. I don't think the game's going long enough where we're going to need Ancestral Visions here. J-Dub, they were certainly dog crap this game. You're definitely on top of that one. So the difference between putting them to 2 and 4 is negligent because we can't actually get this ley line off the battlefield. So we just want to hit a land. They have to give us K command or Fulminator Mage. That's gas. Alright, so we're going to have to shock ourselves with this K command again. We ended up drawing the Blood Crypt, so it was fine either way, but I guess we don't have to shock ourselves and we're actually milled over a Fulminator Mage too. This is so silly. Alright, so let's attack them. Put them to 4. Let's go ahead and do it right now, in case they have Simian Spirit Guide somehow boarded in. Turn target creature, destroy target artifact, get back Fulminator, shatter your O-Stone. Play this Blood Crypt untapped, in case we need to flash in Snappy, because I could have Warping Whale and Grudge get Snapcaster in play, because we can bolt the silly token they make. Sphere doesn't matter. Oh yeah, Robnik, they are definitely gas. These draw 3s in my hand, waiting 4 turns, these are great. 4 mana, another O-Stone, that's perfectly fine. That doesn't do anything here. And we're gonna put another Snapcaster into play for the tilt value. Oh, hold on, come on. Just gotta let them know I still had... They know about it, but... Gotta let them know. I don't advise this behavior. Jacob, I know you were, but you're good. Alright, well... I played really badly the first round. Lost the mirror. Our opponent was clearly way better than us in the mirror. We need to work on our game there. Mulligan to 5 against Burn, bad matchup. Kept a medium hand. It might be a mulligan. But ended up battling back. Oh yeah, seriously, we still had all of these. 2 out of 10 BM. Alright, yeah, we'll have to work on our Hearthstone BM level. I don't do enough of it in Hearthstone either when I play. I just kill my opponent so I can get on the next game faster. Yeah, we could have suspended both our Ancestrals. That would have been better. But hey, we ended up 3-2. Not great record, but you know, I'm sort of rolling my eyes here. At the end of the day, it's not the worst thing ever. Suspending Ancestrals the better BM. Jesus. Alright, open the Alright, fine. I never opened these chests. I opened like I think 6 now total. Where are they at? Alright, open a chest. Open one of these. Alright, let's see what we get. I got a March Flats earlier. Ooh, we got a super duper mana confluence. Does that go for anything? Hey Jason C, I would play Jace the Mind Sculptor, but it would not be in this deck. The deck would need a complete overhaul. I think the biggest card that I always tell people that I would play, granted it that Jace came back, would be Disrupting Shoal, because I think at that point you would have the ability to give up card advantage more and use it as a really bad force of will, and use Jace to recoup the card advantage. So your deck would be pretty close to the density of 1-mana spells that we have in this deck right now, about 10 to 12 1-mana spells, but we'd have to up the number of blue spells on 2, where currently we would just have Snapcaster Mages and Counter Squalls. I don't really know another blue 2-drop that I'd want to play without playing more, but I would certainly look to add more blue interactive spells on 2, and the deck would be built much more similarly to like an old school twin deck. No, Harrison, we did not go 5-0. We were in danger of going 0-3. We were 0-2, and our 5-color Humans opponent was up a game on us. Returning Dawn, I don't think I am tonight. I have to get up at like 6:45 in the morning to play the Mox tomorrow morning. Hey, 5.5 tickets. There we go. We made value in opening that chest. You will see here that I will crack the chest if the chat wants to crack the chest, and I'm very lucky, so we will very frequently end up value. Oh yeah, we still had all these our Tron's opponent by putting our Fulminator Mage that we had just gotten back off our King Command back onto the battlefield. We just had to let him know that he or she was going to get their thing blown up. Yeah, Harrison, it's way too early. It's going to be a fun tournament. It's limited. Hopefully it doesn't go as poorly as the mock that I spent 40 tickets in 2 weeks ago, where I opened by pool and I just had no good rares. Sears, do you live here on the West Coast as well? Thanks, Nathan. I would love to do this again. I'll post on Facebook. I'll post on Twitter. I don't do Instagram or any of those things, but people in the chat asked for YouTube. They asked for me to get off my ass and set up a donation button. Gabby told me she would help me out, and she would help me out with the mic setup. There was another really helpful individual. Goodness gracious, I don't remember their name. I'm sorry. He or she or they were being really awesome and offering help too and fixing up the mic. Oh, what's up, Michelle? Hold on, I need to promote you here. You asked to be a mod. You were gonna keep the plebs in check. Thankfully, our plebs are just like very reasonable human beings that I know in real life and are just awesome. But yeah, those are our quote-unquote plebs. No plebs need to be kept in check here. 0 chance I get up for the box on your East Coast? Goodness. Seriously, so you're just like a night owl? I think I see you on pretty frequently, and I'm testing for Grand Prix that are coming up. Like, I know you and I played at least twice or 3 times in Standard in the last, like, 2 weeks. Like, there was, I think, that time where you and I played a Marvel versus Blue... Maybe not blue-white, I think you were playing green-black, and then I immediately switched to blue-red to try that deck out, and then you switched to blue-white, and you were just, like, so tilted. Sam, you're very welcome. Thanks for hanging out. You should chat more often. The chat loves you, I guarantee it. They'd love to ask you questions, too. Dalton, I'm sorry. Dalton, if you follow me on Twitter, or if you're friends with me on Facebook, I will post them up on there the next time I'm going live, and I will absolutely make sure that you're around and we get to battle more modern. Because Sam Black's gonna have to carry me to a GP trophy. If I don't win in Vancouver, the first place I'm gonna be able to get my GP trophy is Team Modern. So we're gonna have to work up on cleaning up my play here and cleaning up the list a little, because it's very, very possible that Sam or Justin want to play with the Blood Crypt. You only saw the end of the second to last game. Okay, so you saw the 2 games where we sort of just dismantled Tron. Like, they kept a bunch of not very good cards. If I'm friends with you on Facebook, now I'm really insulted. Oh! Okay, sweet. I know why, I figured out who you are. Yeah, I mean, our opponent kept in a bunch of bad cards and drew all their bad cards, so I mean, that helped out, Sam. Seriously, you're fine. Of all the... So I pretty aggressively report people on Moto, but, like, what you did was, like, very similar to how I would feel if that crap happened, where it's like, try out one deck, switch to another deck, and immediately get my worst matchup from the exact same player. It's just like, come on, man, what the hell? Like, your reaction was, like, literally what I expected it to be, because I literally laughed out loud when it happened. Like, you saw me play a Spider Bluff Canal or a Wandering Fumarole, and you're like, oh, come on, what the fuck? It was just like, it was just too perfect. I literally just laughed. It was too great. Alright, Dalton, I will see you next time then. Sure, Robnik, it's not a bad card per se, but I think when they're pitching cards in a matchup where I think they pretty aggressively need cards, it doesn't help. Also, I mean, I guess Genstone Coward's a bad example, but Leyline was the biggest thing. I mean, it turned out to not do nothing there. Like, it stopped me from discarding cards from their hand with Kolaghan's Command, and that is something that I really aggressively do in the Tron matchup. So maybe it's not as bad as, you know, I thought it was. Like, it was worth a card's value. The problem is that they had to take a card that usually is actively getting their game plan further out of their deck, and while it is stopping one of my cards that enables my game plan, they can sort of control it by just holding another card in their hand. Like, Tron is a deck that usually can just function with 3 dead cards. They didn't do functionally nothing. I dealt 2 damage to myself instead of making them discard a card. So that wasn't nothing. I also drew a dead bolt. So, the bolt was embarrassing, but... I mean, that's what happens when you don't have, 2 negates and 2 counter squalls or whatever in your sideboard. Just, give them a giant middle finger. Alright, but that's going to do it for me here tonight, guys. I'm going to get up in about 6.5 hours. Sam, you need to get up and win a Mox so we can, draft weekend, just crush some people, qualify for a Mox. One of us has got to win 40 grand, and I don't think you qualify for Worlds off that anymore, do you? But I would like to see you back at Worlds. Hopefully I can join you this year. It's difficult, it's hard, but... yeah, that's going to do it for me tonight, guys. Thanks for hanging out, and I might do this again tomorrow. This is really fun. Hopefully you all enjoyed this, and we'll work on Grixis some more. I need to work on my play. I need to work on playing quickly enough and talking to everybody in chat, because I did a pretty piss poor job of it. But, yeah, catch you guys all later. Take it easy. You're welcome, Sears. Anytime.